A Stoic Guide to Effortless Living. Born in the heart of ancient Greece, Stoicism emerges as a beacon of endurance, offering not just theories, but practical strategies for cultivating serenity and strength in our chaotic times. In this episode, we decode what it means to live effortlessly, not through avoiding challenges but by aligning our actions with our true nature and the rhythms of the universe. It's about finding calm in the storm and harnessing our inner resilience to face the world with courage and composure. As we dive deep into the essence of Stoicism, we'll uncover how this age-old wisdom is not just relevant, but essential for modern living. It's a call to embrace simplicity in action, find peace amidst turmoil, and discover power in acceptance. Join us as we embark on a transformative journey with A Stoic Guide to Effortless Living. Here, we don't just study philosophy, we live it, breathe it, and apply it to thrive in a world that never stops changing. Let's begin this journey to mastering the art of living well, where each step is a movement towards greater clarity and peace. Welcome aboard. In today's fast-paced world, where every tick of the clock seems to press us harder into the mold of constant productivity and success, there exists a profound, yet often misunderstood philosophy that offers a breath of fresh air: Stoicism. It teaches us a powerful lesson on the art of effortless living, one that may seem counterintuitive at first glance but is deeply liberating when embraced. 1. Letting things unfold naturally. The core of this Stoic wisdom lies in the concept of letting things unfold naturally, without the incessant need to control, push, or exert undue force. Imagine a river. Its waters flow effortlessly around rocks and ledges, not through force, but by simply following the path of least resistance. Similarly, Stoicism teaches us to recognize and align with the natural currents of life. This approach doesn't mean we abandon our efforts or goals, but rather choose to engage with life's challenges in a way that is more in harmony with the natural order of things. As Marcus Aurelius, a Stoic philosopher, aptly put it, "The universe is change. Our life is what our thoughts make it." By adopting this mindset, we can transform our interactions with the world. It's not about passivity. Rather, it's about choosing where to exert our energies wisely. By practicing non-resistance, we align our actions with the unfolding of natural events, which often leads to better outcomes than when we struggle against the tide. This nuanced approach to life encourages us not to waste our energies fighting unnecessary battles, but to focus instead on what truly matters. Incorporating this philosophy into modern life, especially for men between the ages of 30 and 65, offers a promising path to reducing stress and achieving a more balanced life. In the context of work, relationships, and personal growth, understanding and practicing non-resistance can lead to profound insights and more fulfilling experiences. For instance, in the workplace, rather than clashing head-on with every challenge or change, adopting a Stoic approach could mean strategically aligning with circumstances to leverage one's efforts more effectively. Moreover, this philosophy fosters resilience, allowing one to navigate the ups and downs of life with greater ease and serenity. By focusing on what is within our control, our actions, our responses, and our judgments, we empower ourselves. The famous saying, "Grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference where," resonates deeply with Stoic principles and serves as a practical mantra for everyday life. As we integrate these timeless Stoic lessons into our daily routines, we find that not only is life more manageable, but also more enjoyable. We learn to appreciate the present moment, reduce anxiety about the future, and cultivate a state of inner peace that enhances our overall well-being. So let us embrace the Stoic Guide to Effortless Living, where each step is taken not with strain or stress, but with a wise recognition of life's rhythms. This is not just a philosophy for the ancients, but a living, breathing guide for anyone who seeks a life of depth, meaning, and serenity in our contemporary world. 2. Kindness. Kindness is often hailed as a pathway to a fulfilling life, a sentiment echoed across centuries of wisdom. Yet, have you ever stopped to ponder if there might be a shadow to this virtue? As we strive to extend goodness towards others, could we be inadvertently setting the stage for our own setbacks? This isn't to argue against the merits of kindness, but to offer a thoughtful examination of its complexities. Consider the balancing act required between generosity and self-preservation, the intricate interplay of human interactions where unwise kindness might become a pitfall. Let's delve into a modern scenario that might resonate with you. Imagine a young entrepreneur, Alex, who is widely admired for his generosity in his startup community. He often mentors others for free, shares resources, and extends help without expecting anything in return. Over time, however, Alex finds himself overwhelmed with commitments that sidetrack his own goals, draining the energy he needs for his enterprise. His story illustrates a critical lesson. Without setting boundaries, our kindness can sap our vitality and divert us from our own paths. How often do you find yourself in Alex's shoes, giving more than you can spare? To navigate these waters, it's essential to infuse kindness with wisdom. Ask yourself, how can you ensure that your good intentions remain sustainable? Are there times when saying no might actually be the kindest choice for yourself and others? By pondering these questions, you engage in a dynamic process of learning and adaptation that refines your interactions and decisions. In weaving the practice of wise kindness into the fabric of daily life, you not only safeguard your well-being, but also foster a more balanced and reciprocal exchange of goodwill. As we close this discussion, reflect on this. The true measure of our kindness isn't just in our actions, but in our ability to maintain our integrity and purpose in the face of life's demands. How will you practice wise kindness to enrich both your life and those around you, without losing sight of your own needs and aspirations? 3. The foundations of a life well lived. Have you ever pondered what it really takes to live a life steeped in Stoic wisdom? It's not just about grappling with profound philosophical concepts. It's equally about embracing the small, everyday actions that weave the fabric of a serene and resilient life. Stoicism teaches us that the essence of a well-lived life doesn't hinge on grand, dramatic gestures, but on the quiet consistency of our daily habits. How, you might ask, can we align our day-to-day lives with the lofty ideals of virtue, wisdom, and self-mastery? It begins with the small choices we make every moment, choices that foster inner strength, clarity of mind, and emotional resilience. Consider the simple act of reflection. Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." How often do we pause in our busy lives to reflect on our thoughts and actions, and to realign them with our deeper values? Integrating a practice of daily reflection helps us distinguish between what is within our control and what is beyond it, guiding us towards a more composed and purposeful existence. Moreover, Stoicism isn't solely about individual tranquility, but also about contributing to the well-being of our community. What habits can you adopt today that will not only better your life, but also enrich the lives of those around you? This practice of looking outward as well as inward is a hallmark of true wisdom. And what about the inevitable challenges that life throws our way? Here, the Stoic practice of premeditation of evils, visualizing potential challenges and setbacks, can empower us. This technique not only prepares us mentally for life's ups and downs, but also diminishes the impact of negative events when they do occur, allowing us to maintain our composure and focus. Now let me ask you, how might your life change if you embrace these Stoic practices daily? Imagine a life where each day is approached with a calm mind and a heart ready to face whatever comes with courage and poise. By fostering habits such as reflection, community contribution, and mental rehearsal of adversities, we step closer each day to the Stoic ideal of a life well lived, guided by virtue and wisdom. As we conclude today's discussion, remember that the journey of Stoicism is a continuous path of learning and growth. Each day offers a new opportunity to practice these principles and to weave them into the intricate tapestry of our lives. So, as you move forward, consider what small steps you can take today to live more harmoniously within the Stoic framework. What will be your commitment to cultivating a resilient spirit and a serene mind? Thank you for joining me on this journey, and may you find peace and strength in the Stoic way. 4. An undefeated mind. Embarking on the Stoic journey toward effortless living requires embracing the art of maintaining an undefeated mind, a quest central to the Stoic teachings of Seneca and pivotal in today's uncertain world. A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials, Seneca once proclaimed, encapsulating the essence of Stoic resilience. This timeless insight underpins our exploration, not merely as a quote, but as a cornerstone of wisdom, guiding us in cultivating a mental state that remains steadfast and undeterred by life's relentless unpredictability. In this pursuit, we're not constructing an impenetrable facade or adopting false positivity. Rather, we're developing a profound understanding that every challenge is an invaluable opportunity for growth. Each setback we encounter isn't merely a hurdle, but a vital lesson that enriches our understanding and strengthens our resolve. Similarly, every success is not a peak reached but a moment of gratitude, an occasion to reflect and appreciate the journey rather than just the outcome. As we delve into these Stoic principles, we're not passive observers of ancient texts. Instead, we actively engage with these teachings, integrating them into the fabric of our modern lives. This engagement isn't a simple academic exercise. It's a transformative experience that equips us with the tools to navigate the complexities of contemporary existence, from the boardroom battles to the quiet anxieties of our private lives. By understanding and applying these Stoic lessons, we transform our approach to life's adversities, viewing them through a lens of constructive perspective. He who learns must suffer, and even in our sleep, pain that cannot forget falls drop by drop upon the heart. And in our own despair, against our will, comes wisdom to us by the awful grace of God, writes Aeschylus, reminding us that wisdom often comes through hardship. Our exploration doesn't stop at personal mastery. It extends to influencing how we interact with the world around us. With Stoic principles as our guide, we become better leaders, more considerate companions, and more resilient individuals. Each story of a Stoic overcoming adversity, each metaphor about the calm within the storm, resonates deeply, illustrating not only the practicality of Stoic philosophy, but also its profound relevance in our daily lives. In conclusion, as we weave the ancient wisdom of Stoicism into our modern narratives, we find that the true mark of effortless living doesn't lie in avoiding challenges, but in transforming them into pillars of strength and learning. In doing so, we not only enrich our own lives, but also contribute to a more thoughtful, resilient society. Through this seamless integration of philosophy and life, we not only keep our audience engaged, but also provide them with the tools to live a more fulfilled and Stoic life. 5. Effort and force. Have you ever experienced the frustration of pushing a door marked pull? For a moment, you might find yourself stuck, unable to proceed because you're working against the fundamental mechanics of the situation. This simple error, a brief lapse in observation, can serve as a powerful metaphor for our approach to life. In a world that often celebrates the aggressive pursuit of goals, the go-getters and movers and shakers, it's worth considering a different perspective. What if the real secret to inner peace and success isn't found in exerting force, but in mastering the graceful art of allowing things to unfold naturally? This concept doesn't advocate for inaction or passivity. Rather, it champions a type of strategic effort that aligns with the universal flow, instead of resisting it. At first, this might seem like a passive surrender to the whims of fate, but there's a profound strength in recognizing the difference between constructive effort and blind force, between choosing to act and attempting to control the uncontrollable. Stoicism, an ancient philosophy that has transcended centuries, offers us invaluable insights into this approach. Stoics like Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus weren't just philosophers. They were practitioners of life. They didn't engage in abstract academic debates. Instead, they sought practical wisdom that could be applied daily. Their teachings emphasized the power of reason, the importance of maintaining virtue, and the acceptance of what life brings, elements that are remarkably applicable even in today's fast-paced world. Consider a modern scenario. A young entrepreneur struggling to get her startup off the ground. She pushes hard, working long hours, burning the midnight oil, and stretching herself thin in pursuit of success. Despite her efforts, progress is slow, and stress is high. Then, she discovers Stoicism and realizes the value in working with the grain of life, not against it. She learns to focus on what she can control, her actions and her attitude, while letting go of her grip on the results. The change doesn't happen overnight, but gradually, her approach transforms her experience of work, and her life starts to flow more smoothly, with less force and more purpose. How often do we find ourselves in similar situations, exerting too much force in a direction that simply isn't yielding results? How can adopting a more stoic mindset, one that values effort but understands the limits of force, change your approach to challenges you face today? As we reflect on these questions, let us draw from the Stoic understanding that true power lies not in the intensity of our force, but in the wisdom of our effort. The lesson here is clear. Align your actions with the natural course of events and your own core values. This alignment not only fosters peace and well-being, but paves the way for genuine, sustainable success. Embrace this wisdom and watch as the doors before you, once barriers, now open with surprising ease. 6. Challenges us to introspect. Imagine yourself in the shoes of Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor. By day, he commanded legions and steered the affairs of a vast empire. By night, he retreated into the realm of his thoughts, crafting passages that would echo through the ages in his work, Meditations. Picture this powerful figure contemplating, "Do not waste what remains of your life in speculating about your neighbors unless it is to effect some good for them. No, rather, while there is still time, go within and weigh up your own measure." Through these words, Marcus Aurelius reaches across millennia to speak directly to us, urging a pivotal shift from outward concern to inner clarity. He challenges us to introspect, to refine our essence, and to harmonize our actions with the natural world. Isn't it fascinating how he suggests that real power lies in self-mastery and alignment with the greater cosmos? Now consider Seneca, Roman statesman, philosopher, and a contemporary of Aurelius. He watched the rise and fall of fortunes with both the analytical mind of a scholar and the emotional depth of a poet. He once said, "Fate leads the willing and drags along the reluctant." This profound statement captures the essence of Stoic resilience. Visualize the river of life. Sometimes it beckons us to paddle fiercely against the current, while at other times it invites us to lift our oars and surrender to its flow. How do you navigate these shifts? Do you fight every wave, or do you sometimes pause, assess the waters, and perhaps let go, allowing the current to guide you? The teachings of these Stoic philosophers highlight a path to what might be termed effortless living, not in the sense of inactivity, but as an invitation to live in sync with the universe's rhythm. This concept doesn't mean abandoning ambition or effort. Rather, it invites a more intuitive approach to when and how we apply our energies. How often do you find yourself pushing against the unyielding, or conversely, holding back when the path is clear. The Stoic guide to living effortlessly hinges on this keen discernment, recognizing the moments that require our vigor and those that benefit from our surrender. This philosophy teaches us resilience and adaptability, virtues that enable us to meet life's unpredictability with grace and composure. It's about making our inner world a citadel, so external chaos cannot disrupt our peace. Marcus Aurelius and Seneca didn't just philosophize about these ideals. They lived them amidst the complexities of high office and the capriciousness of fate. So I pose this question to you. How can you apply these Stoic principles to navigate your life today? Can you recall a moment when letting go worked in your favor, when the universe seemed to conspire to help you because you chose not to resist its direction? Embracing this philosophy might not just be about finding easier ways to live, but discovering deeper, more meaningful ways to flourish. As we explore these stories and teachings, we stitch together a tapestry of wisdom that is as relevant now as it was in the corridors of ancient power. Let these stories remind you that the pursuit of an effortless life doesn't mean seeking a life without effort, but rather, a life where our efforts are in true alignment with who we are and what the world needs from us. This alignment creates a seamless flow, where our actions and the universe's intentions are in concert. How will you move forward today, with force or with flow? 7. This distinction between effort and force. In the serene dance of life, where the currents of existence ebb and flow with relentless perseverance, understanding the distinction between effort and force becomes a beacon of wisdom for the modern man. Effort, as the Stoics teach us, should glide with the natural currents of life, aligning with our deepest values and the inherent rhythm of the universe. It's akin to rowing downstream, where each stroke complements the river's flow, guiding us toward our destined shores with grace and efficiency. This form of endeavor embodies wisdom and strength, where actions are infused with purpose and direction, harmonizing with the grand tapestry of existence. Force, in stark contrast, is the struggle against the natural order. It's the exhausting effort of rowing upstream, against the tide, a futile battle to bend the river's will to our own. This approach is not only draining, but also misaligned with our true place in the universe, often leaving us fatigued and frustrated. It arises from a fundamental misunderstanding of how to coexist with the forces that shape our lives, leading to tension in our bodies and turmoil within our minds. The wisdom of Stoicism illuminates the path to distinguishing these two forces in our daily lives. It teaches us to recognize the signs of force, the physical tension, the mental frustration, the sense of an uphill battle. Conversely, true effort is marked by a sense of being in the zone, a state of flow where our actions align with our values and the outcomes are embraced, regardless of their nature. It's the satisfaction of knowing that we've acted virtuously, without a rigid attachment to the results. Marcus Aurelius, a sage of Stoicism, encapsulates this principle beautifully. Accept the things to which fate binds you, and love the people with whom fate brings you together, but do so with all your heart. This understanding prompts us to embrace life's natural flow, much like the Stoics who navigated the delicate balance of fate and free will. They engaged with life actively, yet accepted the unfolding of events without resistance, a practice profoundly relevant in today's fast-paced world. Modern examples abound where individuals achieve remarkable success not by sheer force, but through harmonious effort, aligning their actions with their inner nature and the outer realities, much like a skilled sailor harnessing the wind. Today, as we strive to apply Stoic wisdom to the complexities of modern life, we explore how to balance shaping our destinies with accepting the narrative life unfolds for us. This philosophy, ancient yet timeless, is not just a subject of admiration, but a practical guide that breathes life into our daily endeavors. By adopting a Stoic approach to effort and force, we cultivate a life of less resistance and more harmony, encouraging us to live fully in the present, engage with our tasks without undue attachment to outcomes, and ultimately, lead lives of profound contentment and effectiveness. In the seamless narrative of life, where each chapter weaves into the next, adopting Stoicism's lessons on effort and force offers more than historical insight. It provides practical strategies for living with ease and efficacy in our contemporary world. It invites us to a dance with life, where we move with the rhythms of existence rather than against them, crafting a life of resilience, purpose, and serene engagement. 8. The forcing things. In our journey through life, how do we set goals that embrace the art of allowing rather than the strain of forcing? How do we foster relationships without clinging too tightly to our expectations, or advance in our careers without being consumed by ambition? Today, we'll explore these pivotal questions and more, delving into the practical steps necessary to weave the Stoic art of allowing into the fabric of our everyday lives. One key lesson from Stoicism teaches us to recognize what is and isn't within our control. There is a profound joy and liberation in aligning with the natural course of events, in learning to let go of our compulsion to bend life to our will. As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "No great thing is created suddenly." This wisdom guides us as we find our balance between action and inaction, between making things happen and letting them happen. Often, the most profound changes in our lives and ourselves arise not from the force of our will, but from the patience of our efforts. Consider the very nature of forcing things. To force is to push against the natural rhythm of life with a blind determination that often overlooks the realities at play. It's an attempt to impose our will, to control outcomes, and to shape the path of life so that it fits our personal goals and desires. While this approach may stem from a pursuit of success, it frequently diverts us from the path of true wisdom. Let me tell you a story from modern life that mirrors this struggle. Sarah, a project manager, found herself at odds with her team. Her goal was clear: complete the project within the deadline and under budget. Yet, her approach was forceful. She dictated every detail, dismissing her team's input, believing her aggressive push was the only way to succeed. The result? A disgruntled team, subpar work, and a missed deadline. It was only when Sarah stepped back to allow her team's expertise to guide the project that they found a rhythm that worked, ultimately succeeding through collaboration rather than control. Now, ask yourself, when you try to force things in your own life, what happens internally? There's a tightness, a constriction in our mental and emotional landscapes when we attempt to control the uncontrollable. This manifests as stress, the body's natural alarm system signaling that something is off. Anxiety follows, casting a shadow over our every move, whispering incessantly of all that could go wrong. Left unchecked, this state of constant strain can lead to burnout, dimming the light of our spirit and the sharpness of our intellect. How, then, can we learn from Sarah's experience and apply it to our own lives? What might happen if, instead of swimming against the current, we looked for a bridge, a boat, or a smoother passage downstream? Such questions invite us to ponder alternative paths and strategies, highlighting the importance of flexibility and the willingness to adapt as essential components of success. In conclusion, embracing the Stoic principle of allowing teaches us valuable lessons about the nature of effort and acceptance. It reminds us that the greatest achievements in life are often the result of patience and the readiness to align our actions with the flow of the universe, rather than against it. As we move forward, let's carry with us the understanding that sometimes the most effective way to reach our goals is not through force, but through harmony and the gentle power of letting things unfold. 9. To live in agreement with nature. In the hustle and bustle of our achievement-driven society, where long hours, sleepless nights, and unyielding pressure are often celebrated as symbols of dedication, we might be tempted to think that pushing ourselves to the brink is the essence of true commitment. Yet consider the wisdom of the Stoics, who remind us, Virtue lies in working with nature, not against it. This ancient guidance compels us to reconsider our approach to life and work. What does it mean to work with nature, and how can this principle lead us toward a more effortless and fulfilled life? To work with nature is to recognize and respect the natural flow of the cosmos and our inherent human capabilities. It's understanding that not all times are suitable for all actions, just as a farmer knows better than to sow seeds in the barren winter. Have you ever found yourself pushing for something to happen only to meet resistance at every turn? Perhaps then, it wasn't the right season for that particular endeavor. Stoicism teaches us the value of aligning our efforts with the appropriate timing and means. It asks us, when have you felt your actions were most in harmony with the natural course of events? This philosophy does not advocate for a passive resignation to fate, but encourages an active engagement with life, tempered with the wisdom to discern what is within our control and what is not. Stoicism invites us to pursue our dreams, but to do so wisely, using the practice of self-examination to gauge our motivations and adjust our actions. Reflecting on our thoughts, emotions, and behaviors helps us identify when we might be driven by fear, pride, or unchecked desire rather than by reason and virtue. Consider the patient farmer who understands that seeds grow best when sown at the right time, not in the dead of winter. Similarly, in our own lives, discerning the right moments for action versus contemplation can lead to more fruitful outcomes. There is a grace in patience, in allowing things to unfold in their own time. As Marcus Aurelius wisely stated, time is a sort of river of passing events, and strong is its current. No sooner is a thing brought to sight than it is swept by and another takes its place. Thus, in our daily lives, we face numerous choices between forcing outcomes and allowing them to develop naturally. Whether in projects at work, relationships, or personal goals for health, learning, and growth, adopting a Stoic mindset means engaging with these endeavors wholeheartedly while remaining open to the outcomes, whatever they may be. Each day presents a new opportunity to choose to flow rather than force. What might happen if you approached your next challenge with this perspective? Could you find a way to align more closely with the inherent patterns of your life and the world around you, allowing your efforts to unfold more naturally? Embracing this approach might not only reduce stress, but also increase your effectiveness and satisfaction. Remember, the oak tree does not rush to tower above the forest. It grows steadily, year by year, according to the inherent pattern embedded within its acorn. How can you apply this lesson to grow steadily in your own life? To practice this art, we must be. In the quest for a Stoic guide to effortless living, it is essential to embrace vigilance. Constant monitoring of our inner state is crucial to detect any signs of unnecessary strain or exertion. This vigilance is not about rigidity. Rather, it invites courage. The courage to release our grip on rigid outcomes and embrace flexibility. It's about the bravery required to admit when we are holding too tightly to expectations and the strength to let go, thereby aligning more harmoniously with life's unpredictable rhythms. Moreover, this journey demands compassion. Compassion towards oneself is vital, allowing room for errors and growth without the weight of self-criticism. We often forget to treat ourselves with the kindness we readily extend to others. However, it is this self-compassion that fosters true resilience and personal evolution. As we delve deeper into this discourse, we recall the profound wisdom of the Stoics, who taught us to live in harmony with nature. This principle is not an invitation to passivity, but a call to engage with life's inherent challenges actively. Just as the persistent flow of water shapes stones and carves valleys, so too can our steady, gentle efforts overcome the most daunting of barriers. Over time, this methodical perseverance molds us and our surroundings, creating beauty and strength through what the Stoics would consider true resistance and alignment with the natural forces of life. Understanding Stoic philosophy requires an exploration of its historical roots, immersing ourselves in the rich tapestry of the past. The ancient Stoics viewed the universe as a complex web, ruled by a divine logic they called the Logos. They believed that true mastery in life lies in controlling our judgments and actions, faculties within our direct influence, while accepting everything else as the domain of fate or divine will. This perspective fosters a serene acceptance of life's flux and focuses our energies on cultivating virtue and wisdom. Epictetus, a luminary in Stoic thought, once remarked, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This sentiment encapsulates the Stoic pursuit of inner tranquility amidst external chaos, urging us to focus on our responses rather than the events themselves. By applying this philosophy, we can navigate the modern world with grace and fortitude, facing life's vicissitudes with a poised and centered spirit. In conclusion, the path to effortless living is not found through avoidance of challenge, but through a harmonious engagement with life's inherent complexities. It requires vigilance, courage, compassion, and a deep understanding of Stoic principles. By integrating these elements, we not only enrich our own lives but also contribute to the well-being of those around us, embodying the timeless wisdom of Stoicism in every step of our modern journey. 10. The Stoics did not advocate for passivity. The ancient Stoics, such as Zeno of Citium, did not preach passivity, but an invigorated engagement with life's challenges, married to the profound understanding that we do not control the outcomes. This dual awareness forms the core of Stoic wisdom and fosters a life of proactive serenity. Zeno, the progenitor of Stoicism, became acquainted with this philosophy following a life-altering shipwreck near Athens, which stripped him of his worldly possessions. This seemingly disastrous twist of fate introduced him to a path of philosophical exploration under crates of Thebes. From this, Zeno developed a philosophy centered around achieving inner peace by embracing fate. His experience illustrates a quintessential Stoic lesson, converting adversity into a stepping stone for personal development. The shipwreck, which could easily have been viewed as a tragedy, instead became the inception of Zeno's journey toward uncovering the intrinsic values of wisdom, virtue, and inner tranquility. This anecdote not only emphasizes resilience, but also highlights the Stoic practice of transforming every obstacle into an opportunity for growth. Zeno's shift from external loss to internal gain underscores a profound Stoic principle. True wealth is found not in material possessions, but in one's moral and intellectual resources. Integrating this timeless wisdom into the modern hustle can seem daunting, yet profoundly rewarding. In a world that often measures success in material terms, Stoicism reminds us that our true power lies in our ability to remain composed and purposeful amidst chaos. Epictetus, another Stoic philosopher, once said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This sentiment encapsulates the Stoic invitation to embrace life's unpredictability with courage and poise. By applying these principles, men learning the art of effortless living can navigate the complexities of modern existence. Instead of succumbing to frustrations over unmet expectations or unforeseen setbacks, embracing a Stoic attitude helps one see every challenge as a forge for character, and every setback as a setup for a comeback. This mindset not only enriches one's personal life but also enhances one's interactions in the workplace and at home, fostering relationships that are more resilient and understanding. In conclusion, Stoicism offers more than just a philosophical framework. It provides practical strategies for leading a fulfilled and balanced life. By acknowledging what we can control and surrendering to the flow of what we cannot, we find the freedom to live with grace and vigor. As Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, advised, "Accept the things to which fate binds you, and love the people with whom fate brings you together, but do so with all your heart." This approach does not dilute our agency but rather amplifies it, allowing us to live fully in the present while preparing ourselves for whatever the future may hold. Engage actively with life's tapestry, weaving acceptance and action into the fabric of your daily experiences, and watch as the Stoic teachings illuminate the path to a more serene and resilient existence. 11. Schedule, plan. Schedule, plan, execute. Such is the mantra of our modern lives, steeped in a world bustling with technology and constant change. Despite the myriad of tools and systems at our disposal, designed to optimize every fragment of our existence from sleep to productivity, it's crucial to remember a fundamental truth. We can only truly govern our thoughts, our choices, and our reactions. As you embark upon your daily routines, how often do you find yourself caught up in the pursuit of perfect control over your schedule, only to encounter the unpredictable dance of life's events? Reflect on this for a moment. Does clinging too tightly to your plans cause more stress than it alleviates? Stoicism teaches us a valuable lesson here. It's not the plan itself, but our attachment to it that often sows seeds of turmoil. Consider the approach adopted by influential leaders and revered sports coaches today, a modern application of ancient Stoic wisdom. They focus on the process rather than the outcome, a practice that fosters excellence. It emerges not from a restless preoccupation with results, but from the quality and integrity of our actions. By anchoring ourselves in the present and committing fully to the task at hand, we allow the results to unfold as they will, embracing whatever comes with grace and resilience. Take, for example, a typical scenario in the life of a corporate employee who must meet a critical project deadline. Amid the frenzy, a sudden family emergency arises, throwing her meticulously crafted timetable into disarray. Rather than succumb to frustration, she applies Stoic principles, focusing solely on her immediate response and adapting gracefully to these new circumstances. Her ability to differentiate what she can control from what she must accept not only eases her mind but also enhances her effectiveness at work and her presence with her family. This narrative of Stoic acceptance is as relevant today as it was in historical tales of figures who, despite facing adversity, use their experiences to drive positive change. In our own lives, whether we face minor annoyances or life-altering challenges, Stoicism offers a profound toolkit. It empowers us to discern between our sphere of influence and the external factors beyond our control, guiding us to invest our energy wisely and maintain our integrity. So, how will you apply these Stoic principles to your life today? Will you allow the tides of circumstance to disrupt your inner peace? Or will you navigate the waves with a focused calm, concentrating solely on your actions and responses? Remember, the true measure of our lives is not dictated by what happens to us, but by how we respond to what happens. Let this understanding mold your efforts and your journey, reminding you always to hold fast to your purpose and your values, for these are the truest guides in the unpredictable journey of life. In embracing Stoicism, we find not just a philosophy for effortless living, but a path to profound personal growth and fulfillment. 12. The conquest of self-mastery. Virtue is the sole good, remarked the great Stoic philosopher Seneca, underscoring the essence of Stoic thought. By anchoring our lives in these principles, we cultivate the content of our character beyond the unpredictabilities of external conditions. How often do we find ourselves swayed by fleeting desires or superficial achievements? Stoicism invites us to look deeper, encouraging a life measured by the depth of our virtues rather than the surface of our successes. Consider this. In moments of crisis, both personal and collective, where do we turn? Stoicism shines as a beacon of resilience, offering courage not as the absence of fear, but as the capacity to persevere despite it. It teaches us to confront a world in constant flux with a soul grounded in virtue, ready to adapt, to accept, and to overcome. Isn't it empowering to think that our response to life's challenges is a reflection of our inner strength and not merely our external circumstances? Let us ponder on the Stoic wisdom that advises us to allow things to happen, recognizing the role of fate while committing to virtuous action. This philosophy is not an outdated relic, but a vibrant, living guide that invites us into a dance with destiny. We lead with our virtues and follow with our acceptance, creating a harmony that resonates with the teachings of ancient Stoic sages. Marcus Aurelius, another Stoic luminary, once said, "Accept the things to which fate binds you, and love the people with whom fate brings you together, but do so with all your heart." This timeless harmony reminds us that amidst life's tumultuous currents, we have the power to forge an inner sanctuary of peace and strength. As we navigate through the chronicles of history, from the shipwreck that catalyzed Zeno's philosophical quest to the trials and triumphs of modern times, Stoicism remains a steadfast ally. It does not urge us to retreat from life's battles, but to engage with them more sagaciously, with a steady heart and a serene mind attuned to the enduring wisdom of the ages. Through Stoicism, we discover that the art of letting things happen is not about surrender. Rather, it is about a profound conquest, a conquest of self-mastery, of virtue, and of a life lived in harmonious accord with the unfolding song of the world. Now I invite you to reflect. How might your life change if you viewed every challenge as an opportunity to practice virtue? What inner strengths could you develop if you embraced Stoic wisdom in your daily life? Let us continue this conversation and explore how the ancient teachings of Stoicism can illuminate our paths today, guiding us towards a life of purpose, resilience, and profound tranquility. 13. The philosophy of action without force. In the vast expanse of Stoic philosophy, there lies a profound principle that speaks directly to the core of effortless living, the philosophy of action without force. This intriguing concept challenges us to engage wholeheartedly in our endeavors, dedicating ourselves to actions that we believe are worthwhile, yet it simultaneously instructs us to relinquish our fixation on the results. As Seneca, a towering figure in Stoicism, once said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." This idea resonates deeply with the Stoic commitment to focus only on what is within our power, the action, not on what lies beyond it, the outcome. At the heart of this philosophy is a crucial distinction, the difference between taking action and forcing outcomes. As participants in the rich tapestry of life, every decision and movement we make weaves our unique thread into the broader picture. Yet, while we control our actions, the results are often dictated by variables outside our grasp. To illustrate, consider the metaphor of the archer, a favored image in Stoic texts. The archer draws his bow, aims, and lets fly his arrow with precision and focus. However, once the arrow has been released, its path is influenced by external forces like the wind or a sudden movement of the target. The archer's peace comes from his mastery in drawing and aiming, not from the eventual flight of the arrow. This principle teaches a valuable lesson on detachment and effort. By acting with intent and dedication, like planting seeds with care, skill, and attention, we fulfill our role. But just as we cannot control the weather or the fertility of the soil that will nurture these seeds, we must accept that the fruits of our labors are subject to forces beyond our control. To attempt to force these outcomes, much like tugging at emerging seedlings to accelerate their growth, is not only futile, but can also harm the very progress we strive to achieve. Translating this into the fabric of modern life, we find a powerful guide to personal and professional pursuits. In a world that often confuses success with relentless pursuit and control over outcomes, Stoicism offers a refreshing pathway. Exert your best effort, then step back and let the results unfold as they will. This approach not only preserves our inner tranquility, but also empowers us to act without the burden of excessive expectations. Thus, by embracing the Stoic practice of action without attachment to results, we navigate life not as forceful conquerors, but as wise gardeners who know that while we can cultivate the earth, we cannot command the plants to grow. This wisdom does not diminish our efforts but enriches them, allowing us to engage with life's complexities with clarity and grace. In this way, Stoicism, with its ancient roots, continues to provide enduring wisdom that guides us through the unpredictable currents of contemporary existence. 14. The peace comes not from controlling the outcomes of our actions. Stoicism and Taoism, two venerable philosophies, share a profound insight that peace arises not from controlling the outcomes of our actions, but from engaging in actions themselves with a detached yet focused intent. This concept finds expression in the Eastern philosophy of Taoism through Wu Wei, often translated as effortless action or non-doing. This isn't about inaction, but about aligning with life's natural flows, acting harmoniously without forcing outcomes or exerting unnecessary effort. Imagine Wu Wei as the art of navigating a river by canoe. You paddle with the current, using its force to guide you, rather than paddling against it, which only leads to exhaustion. Similarly, Wu Wei teaches us to recognize the right times to act and the times to step back, much like knowing when to paddle a boat or let the river carry it. This aligns closely with the Stoic practice of focusing on our efforts and detaching from the results, fostering a serene engagement with life's challenges. Consider a modern-day scenario. A dedicated worker strives to excel in a highly competitive job. Every day they invest in their tasks, applying themselves fully. However, rather than being consumed by anxiety over promotions or recognition, they focus solely on the quality of their work. This approach reduces stress and increases satisfaction and effectiveness at work. How often do we find ourselves checking for results, like the growth of a newly planted tree, instead of trusting in the process and our efforts? Both Stoicism and Taoism teach us to appreciate the wisdom in life's unfolding events that often lie beyond our full understanding and control. By acting with integrity and without a compulsive need to control every outcome, we open ourselves to a deeper wisdom and a more profound connection with the world around us. These teachings encourage us to live fully in the present, attending to our actions with diligence and care, while letting go of our attachment to specific results. This perspective invites you to consider: are there areas in your life where you might be forcing outcomes rather than allowing them to unfold? Could a shift towards action without attachment enhance your peace of mind and effectiveness? In embracing this philosophy in our daily lives, we cultivate a blend of Stoic resolve and Taoist adaptability. This synthesis guides us to act without force, achieving goals with a natural grace and effectiveness, reminiscent of a dance where every step flows seamlessly into the next. Herein lies a powerful lesson. True strength is not about rigidity, but about flexibility, not about control, but about harmony with the natural course of things. As you navigate through the complexities of modern life, remember the strength that comes from this elegant dance of action without force. By applying these principles, we not only enhance our own peace and effectiveness, but also contribute to a more balanced and harmonious world. Let this understanding shape your actions and interactions, and may you discover the profound peace that comes from knowing you have acted rightly, with integrity and mindful presence. 15. How the Stoic wisdom can be applied to our modern lives. Stoicism teaches us the art of discernment, recognizing what lies within our control and what does not. The ancient Stoic philosopher Epictetus laid down a foundational lesson. Some things are in our power: our opinion, motivation, desire, aversion, and, in a word, whatever is of our own doing. Not in our power are our body, our property, reputation, office, and, in a word, whatever is not of our own doing. This profound insight forms the bedrock of Stoic peace of mind. In a world that often feels unpredictable and overwhelming, grasping this distinction can transform our approach to life. Imagine how liberating it would feel to focus your energy solely on what you can influence: your thoughts, your attitudes, and your reactions. True agency, Stoics argue, is found not in external achievements but in these internal victories. What would it be like if you lived with the awareness that your true power lies in your internal landscape, the realm of your personal decisions and judgments? As we ponder this, consider the metaphor of sailing. A skilled sailor does not waste time lamenting the direction of the wind. Instead, they adjust the sails and steer the ship accordingly. In life, too, we can learn to adjust our sails, that is, our responses to the challenges we face. It is not the situations themselves that define our lives, but our responses to them. Have you ever found yourself exhausted by trying to control the uncontrollable? How might your life change if you focused only on what you can change? This perspective helps us release the frustration associated with disrupted plans and unforeseen obstacles, enabling us to navigate life with a steadier and more resilient stride. Stoic wisdom does not merely teach endurance. It champions a proactive embrace of life's unpredictability. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher king, advised, "Accept the things to which fate binds you, and love the people with whom fate brings you together, but do so with all your heart." He espoused the doctrine of amor fati, the love of one's fate. This is not just about bearing what life throws at us, but loving it wholeheartedly. This joyous acceptance invites us to embrace life's full spectrum, the triumphs and the tragedies. How then can we apply this to our daily lives? Can you identify areas where you might shift your focus from external circumstances to your internal reactions? What might change if you began to view every obstacle as an opportunity to practice this Stoic art of living? By integrating these teachings, we begin to see life through a Stoic lens, where every moment is an opportunity to practice serenity, resilience, and purposeful living. Let us move forward with this question. How can embracing Stoic principles transform your daily life, making it more peaceful and fulfilling? 16. Embracing our fate. In our journey through life, what if we embraced every circumstance as though it were of our own choosing? This Stoic principle suggests a profound transformation in how we perceive our experiences. By viewing each moment as an opportunity for growth and introspection, we shift from passive observers to active participants in our own lives. As Marcus Aurelius, a sage of Stoicism, teaches us, there is inherent beauty in the inevitable cycles of life. He urges us to perceive ourselves as integral parts of a larger whole, understanding our place within a broader cosmic order. This perspective helps dissolve the narrow focus that often exacerbates our difficulties, opening our eyes to the potential hidden within each challenge. Embracing our fate is not about surrendering to circumstance or diminishing our efforts to improve our situation. Rather, it embodies a form of optimistic pragmatism, accepting each moment as it arrives and responding with the best version of ourselves. This approach doesn't guarantee success but offers the most authentic way to live, echoing Seneca's reflection. It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. Life is long enough, and a sufficiently generous amount has been given to us for the highest achievements, if it were all well invested. Here, Seneca underscores the importance of prioritizing and focusing our efforts, reminding us of the finite nature of time and the folly of squandering it on trivialities. Today's world, brimming with distractions, demands our attention as if it were a precious currency. In this context, Seneca's wisdom is particularly relevant, urging us to eschew trivial pursuits like endless social media scrolling or needless worry about things beyond our control. Imagine channeling our energies into nurturing relationships, honing our skills, or enhancing our communities. This call to discard superficiality in favor of engaging deeply with life's essence reflects not a withdrawal from the world, but a more profound engagement with it. Stoicism teaches not indifference but discernment, the capacity to distinguish what truly matters from what does not. It advocates not for inaction but for purposeful action, steered by wisdom. By adopting the lessons of these venerable Stoic thinkers, we can shed the illusions of control, the resistance to what life presents us, and the distractions that drain our time. Instead, we cultivate acceptance, intentionality, and focus, thereby enriching our lives and equipping ourselves to navigate the world with dignity and tranquility. In doing so, we not only honor the legacy of Stoicism, but also breathe life into its timeless principles, making them relevant and vital in our modern existence. Through this Stoic guide to effortless living, we learn not just to survive the ebb and flow of life's challenges, but to thrive within them, guided by ancient wisdom that remains just as powerful today. Practical Strategies Stoic Guide to Effortless Living. Incorporating the philosophy of non-force into our daily lives is akin to mastering a new language, the language of deliberate calmness and measured response. Much like learning any new dialect, it demands practice, patience, and a mindful readjustment of our instinctive reactions. To bear trials with a calm mind robs misfortune of its strength and burden, said Seneca, reflecting the Stoic commitment to maintaining tranquility. This ancient wisdom is exceptionally pertinent today as we navigate the complexities of modern life, urging us to apply a serene approach to both our personal challenges and our interactions with others. We delve deeper into the practical strategies that seamlessly integrate the principles of non-force into our daily routines, transforming them into a natural part of our existence. Imagine you are faced with a stressful situation at work, a demanding project with tight deadlines. Instead of reacting with typical urgency and stress, you adopt a Stoic approach. You break down the task into manageable parts, approach each segment with full presence and composure, and communicate your progress calmly to your team. This method not only enhances your productivity, but also promotes a healthier work environment. By practicing these techniques regularly, you cultivate a habit of calmness that permeates all aspects of your life, allowing you to handle difficult situations with grace and effectiveness. Marcus Aurelius once remarked, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This Stoic mindset empowers us to remain focused and unswayed by the turmoil of external circumstances, offering a clearer path to decision-making and daily interactions. To weave these principles into the fabric of our lives is not merely to adopt a new set of behaviors, but to undergo a profound transformation in how we perceive and react to the world around us. Each moment of non-reactive, measured response builds our resilience and our capability to deal with life's inevitable adversities. As we practice this art of living, we not only improve our own lives, but also contribute positively to the lives of those around us, embodying the Stoic ideal of effortless living in a world that often seems anything but effortless. 1. Let's consider the morning ritual. In contemplating the morning ritual, picture yourself not rushing into the dawn's challenges, but rather starting with a tranquil moment of reflection. What if, instead of diving headfirst into a sea of tasks and emails, you chose instead to anchor your day with a pause? A short meditation perhaps, or several minutes of deep breathing. Imagine just sitting peacefully with a cup of tea, allowing yourself to be fully in the moment, truly present. This simple act is more than just a pause, it's an opportunity to set the tone for your entire day. By cultivating a space of calm each morning, you prepare yourself to face the day's demands not out of compulsion, but from a place of centered strength. How often do we allow the day to dictate our actions rather than approaching it with a clear and deliberate mindset? The morning ritual is your chance to take control, acknowledging the day's potential without the urge to force its direction. Consider a common scenario in modern life. You wake up to a buzzing phone, emails piling up, and a hurried sense of needing to respond to everything and everyone. Now, reimagine this scenario where your first act isn't to reach for your phone, but to reach within yourself, setting a grounded intention for what lies ahead. How might this change not just your morning, but your entire approach to life's challenges? By starting the day centered and calm, you invite clarity and purpose into each action. You become more responsive rather than reactive, a key principle of Stoic philosophy. What are the areas in your life where you could benefit from being more present and less pressured? How might your relationships and work improve if you approach them with the calm focus you cultivate each morning? The lesson here is clear. The morning ritual isn't just a start to your day. It's a foundational strategy for living effortlessly. By beginning each day with stillness and presence, you equip yourself to navigate life's ebbs and flows with a serene mind and a resilient spirit. This practice allows you to embody the Stoic ideal, remaining steadfast in the face of daily turmoils and anchored in your own sense of purpose. How will you implement this simple yet profound practice in your daily routine to transform not just your mornings, but your entire life? 2. The practice of mindful pauses. In the rush of everyday life, we often find ourselves caught in a whirlwind of tasks and obligations, driven by an invisible force that pushes us from one activity to the next, without a moment of respite. But what if I told you there's a way to navigate this chaos with a sense of peace and intention? This brings us to the practice of mindful pauses, a concept deeply embedded in Stoic philosophy, which Seneca aptly described when he said, "It's not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." Imagine you're about to start a new task, enter a meeting, or respond to an email. Instead of plunging headlong into these activities, you take a brief pause. This pause is a moment of introspection where you ask yourself, am I acting out of compulsion or choice? Am I trying to force an outcome, or am I prepared to simply do my best and let the results unfold as they may? This practice isn't just about taking a break. It's about cultivating a mindset where every decision is intentional and every action is considered. These mindful pauses act as checkpoints throughout your day. They allow you to step back and evaluate your motivations and the alignment of your actions with your values. The question then arises, how often do you find yourself reacting impulsively, driven by immediate emotions or pressures rather than responding thoughtfully with your long-term well-being in mind? By integrating these pauses into your daily routine, you begin to develop the discipline of non-forcing, a principle that echoes the Stoic belief in working with what is within your control and letting go of what isn't. Marcus Aurelius, another great Stoic philosopher, once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This strength comes from understanding that while we can influence the processes we're involved in, the outcomes are often beyond our direct control. Now think about your own life. How could adopting this practice of mindful pauses change the way you engage with your world? Could it transform the stress of getting it all done into a more meaningful exploration of doing what you can, calmly and deliberately? And as you ponder these questions, consider how this simple shift might impact your relationships, your work, and your overall well-being. As we continue our journey through the principles of Stoicism, remember that each step is an opportunity for growth and reflection. These mindful pauses are not just stops along the way, but a way to deepen our understanding of ourselves and our path through life. Engaging in this practice, how will you ensure that your next action not only contributes to your success, but also to your lasting happiness and peace? Let's embrace these pauses as a gateway to a more mindful and stoic way of living, where each moment is lived with purpose and each decision is made with clarity. 3. Communication. In this segment of our exploration into the Stoic Guide to Effortless Living, we delve into a critical component: communication. The way we converse and interact with others can often dictate the quality of our relationships and our overall sense of peace. A key Stoic practice in mastering communication is the art of active listening. Marcus Aurelius, a revered Stoic philosopher, once said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." This profound insight underpins the importance of giving space to the words of others, truly hearing them out, and resisting the impulse to steer the conversation towards a predetermined end point. Active listening is not merely about hearing words, it's about understanding the speaker's intentions, emotions, and underlying messages. It demands a presence of mind, where we pause our own streams of thought and allow the other person's ideas and feelings to resonate with us. This approach fosters a natural flow in dialogue, where exchanges are free from the constraints of our personal biases or scripted conclusions. Such conversations are enriching. They evolve organically, without the friction that typically arises from trying to dominate or direct the discourse. In today's fast-paced world, where everyone is quick to speak but slow to listen, applying this Stoic exercise can transform your interactions into more meaningful and profound exchanges. Think about how often misunderstandings occur because we fail to truly listen to one another. By embracing active listening, we not only enhance our relationships, but also cultivate a tranquil mind, as we are no longer in a rush to interject our views or bend conversations to our will. Moreover, this practice aligns with the Stoic principle of living according to nature, which includes understanding and respecting the natural flow of dialogue. Just as the Stoics believed in living harmoniously with the external world, so too should our conversations reflect a harmony that fosters understanding and connection. By integrating this simple yet powerful tool into your daily life, you will notice a shift in how others respond to you and how much more you learn from your interactions. As you practice, remember the words of Epictetus, another Stoic luminary, who advised, "It is impossible for a man to learn what he thinks he already knows." Approaching conversations with an open mind and a ready ear is the epitome of wisdom in practice. Embrace this Stoic method and watch as your communications unfold with ease and authenticity, enhancing not only your personal growth, but also enriching those around you. This approach to effortless living is not only about making life easier for yourself, but also about deepening the connections that make life worth living. 4. Reflection at the end of each day. As you wind down each day, imagine unwinding the threads of your actions and attitudes like a soft, methodical unraveling of a knitted sweater. This gentle process of daily reflection cultivates a discipline called non-forcing, a central tenet in the Stoic Guide to Effortless Living. By reviewing our day through the pages of a journal, we discover how each moment unfolded and question our approaches. Did I exert too much force in any of my interactions today? Could a more measured, softer touch have been more effective? This kind of introspection is not about berating oneself, but about fostering an environment of growth and adjustment. It's akin to gently pruning a plant, encouraging it to grow healthy and strong. Take, for example, Sarah, a project manager who found herself overwhelmed by the demands of her job and her natural reaction to push harder. By incorporating evening reflections into her routine, she noticed a pattern of excessive force in her responses. With this awareness, Sarah began experimenting with a lighter approach, which not only reduced her stress, but also improved her team's productivity and morale. Now think about your own experiences. In what areas of your life could a lighter touch lead to better outcomes? This question isn't just rhetorical. It invites you to actively engage with the Stoic practice of reflection to enhance your personal and professional life. As you adopt this practice, you will likely notice a shift in how you handle challenges. Instead of a direct, forceful assault on problems, a more fluid, adaptable approach often yields better results. This shift is not about losing your drive, but about channeling it in a way that is harmonious with the natural flow of life. So, as you lay your head down tonight, allow yourself a few minutes to reflect. Consider the day's events, your reactions, and the outcomes. What could be learned? What can be gently adjusted? These nightly reflections can transform not just your approach to challenges, but can enhance your overall well-being, leading you to a path of more serene and effective living. Remember, the goal here is not to achieve perfection overnight, but to make incremental changes that compound over time, offering profound insights and rewards. 5. Cultivate the art of strategic yielding. In our journey through life, embracing the Stoic principle of strategic yielding can be profoundly transformative. It's an art, akin to the graceful willow tree that bends amidst the fury of a storm but does not break. This practice involves recognizing those critical moments when resistance proves less effective than flexibility. Have you ever felt yourself rigid in the face of adversity? only to find that a more adaptable approach could have spared you undue stress? Strategic yielding is about discerning the strength that lies in adaptability, a concept that the Stoic philosophers held in high regard. Marcus Aurelius, a Stoic emperor, once noted, "Be like the headland, against which the waves continually break, but it stands firm and tames the fury of the water around it." Imagine how such steadfastness, coupled with the wisdom to know when to yield, can enhance your life. Can you think of a time when taking a step back could have led to a better outcome? This approach could manifest in various practical ways. Perhaps deferring a decision when emotions run high could save you from future regrets. How often have we made choices in the heat of the moment that we later lament? Alternatively, yielding the floor in a debate to gather more insights could unveil perspectives you hadn't considered, enriching your understanding and response. Or, consider the simple act of taking a walk when a work problem feels insurmountable. Isn't it remarkable how a change of scenery can sometimes clear the fog of confusion, helping us to see a solution that was obscured by the walls of our own making? Moreover, strategic yielding does not equate to giving up or showing weakness. Rather, it's an intelligent recognition of the most effective way to handle a situation. It is choosing the path of least resistance not because you are forced to, but because it is the most beneficial course of action at that moment. How can you apply this principle in your daily interactions to enhance your personal and professional life? This Stoic practice, therefore, is not just about survival, but about thriving in the ever-changing tides of life's circumstances. It teaches us that there is immense power in recognizing when to advance and when to retreat strategically. So, I ask you, where in your life could you benefit from being more like the willow? How might your relationships improve if you chose strategic yielding over confrontation? Let us ponder on these questions and strive to incorporate this timeless wisdom into our lives, ensuring that we not only endure, but flourish amidst the storms we face. 6. Letting go. In today's fast-paced world, the Stoic wisdom of letting go has never been more pertinent, especially for men aged 30 to 65, who often bear the brunt of societal expectations to remain unflinchingly resilient. Embracing the art of effortless living, as espoused by the Stoics, isn't about relinquishing control, but aligning with the flow of life to reduce unnecessary tension and stress. One effective method to cultivate this mindset is through practices like yoga or tai chi. These disciplines do more than merely guide our physical movements. They are profound teachings in the art of balance. As we synchronize our movements with our breath, we learn to proceed with intention while easing the grip of tension. This physical easing is not just an activity but a profound metaphor for a more significant psychological release. It represents a fundamental principle of Stoicism, releasing our persistent urge to control everything around us. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "Some things are within our power, while others are not." By discerning between these, we not only free ourselves from the chains of unnecessary burdens but also gain the serenity to enjoy life's journey. Practicing yoga or tai chi helps us embody this wisdom. These exercises teach us to recognize the limits of our control, particularly how we react to external circumstances, which is often the only thing we truly have power over. Incorporating these practices into our daily routine can provide practical relief from the stressors of modern life. For instance, the slow, intentional movements in Tai Chi mirror the Stoic practice of thoughtful reflection and deliberate action. This alignment with Stoic principles not only improves our physical well-being, but enhances our mental health by fostering a sense of inner peace and resilience. Moreover, as we let go of the need to control everything, we open ourselves up to experiencing life more fully. This doesn't mean we lose our drive or ambition. Instead, we approach our goals with a calm, collected mind and a flexible attitude, adjusting our efforts to what is genuinely achievable, without the strain of overbearing expectations. Release what you cannot hold on to and treasure what remains, as the saying goes. This approach not only deepens our appreciation for the present, but also diminishes anxieties about the future, allowing us to live more fully within the moment. Such a mindset is invaluable in today's world, where change is constant and often beyond our control. To sum up, embracing the Stoic guidance on letting go through mindful practices like yoga and Tai Chi does not signify weakness. Rather, it is a powerful affirmation of strength and adaptability. By reducing psychological and physical tension, we not only enhance our health and well-being, but also prepare ourselves to meet the challenges of modern life with grace and vigor. In our fast-paced world, finding balance between exertion and ease often feels like an elusive dance. Picture yourself in this dance where each step represents the delicate interplay between doing and being, pushing forward and stepping back. This balance is crucial, not just in navigating the complexities of modern life, but in enriching it with a sense of purpose and serenity. Let's explore how focusing on the process rather than the outcome can transform your efforts into a fulfilling journey. Imagine working passionately towards your goals, while also keeping in mind that these goals do not define your worth. It's about setting ambitious targets and pursuing them with zeal, yet not tethering your self-esteem to the results. This approach allows you to invest deeply in your endeavors without the burden of attachment to the fruits of your efforts. Now, consider the role of rest and boundaries in this equation. It's vital to acknowledge that recuperation is as essential as action. Setting clear boundaries around your work life ensures that you have time to recharge, ultimately enhancing your productivity and well-being. Have you ever felt the relief of stepping away from a task only to return to it with fresh eyes and renewed energy? That's the power of balanced effort. In the professional arena, employing the principle of non-force can be incredibly effective. This means choosing your battles wisely and understanding that not every challenge demands your intervention. Sometimes the most strategic action is inaction. Allowing situations to unfold naturally can save your energy for areas where you can make a significant impact. To seamlessly integrate this philosophy into your life, consider adopting proactive patience and reactive resilience. Proactive patience involves diligent planning and execution, combined with the composure to allow things to progress in their own time. Reactive resilience, on the other hand, is about adapting to unexpected challenges, viewing them as opportunities for growth rather than setbacks. By embracing these practices, you move beyond merely understanding the concept of non-force to living it. Acting with intention and guided by wisdom, you cultivate a life that is not just reactive to external pressures but is shaped by thoughtful engagement with the world. Now let me share a story from the life of Alex, a project manager in a bustling tech firm. Alex was known for his relentless drive, often working late into the night to meet deadlines. However, he frequently felt burnt out and unfulfilled. After attending a workshop on Stoic practices, Alex began to apply the principles of effort with surrender. He started by defining clear work boundaries and embracing the quality of his work over the quantity. Over time, Alex noticed a significant change. He was achieving his targets, but now with a sense of fulfillment and less stress. This transformation wasn't just about reducing his hours. It was about redefining what success meant to him. As you reflect on Alex's story, ask yourself, in which areas of your life could you benefit from more balance between effort and surrender? How might your perception of success change if you focused more on the journey than on the destination? In conclusion, the Stoic Guide to Effortless Living isn't about diminishing ambition or effort. It's about enriching your life's work with wisdom and intention. By marrying effort with surrender, you create a life not just of achievement but of meaning and balance. Remember, it's not the intensity of your actions, but their harmony with your deeper values that cultivates true fulfillment. As we draw the curtain on our exploration of Stoic principles and the elegant art of embracing non-force in our daily lives, let's take a moment to reflect deeply on the journey we've shared. Guided by the age-old wisdom of Stoic philosophers like Zeno, we've learned to navigate the delicate balance between exerting effort and surrendering control, grasping that while we can sow seeds with intention, The blossoming is not ours to command, but occurs in its own time and manner. This distinction between effort and force is pivotal. As Marcus Aurelius wisely observed, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Throughout our journey, we've walked alongside these ancient Stoics, witnessing their mastery of acceptance in the turbulent seas of life. By examining their lives and teachings, we've seen firsthand the relevance of their unforced approach to handling life's unpredictable challenges today. We introduce the Taoist concept of Wu Wei, or action without attachment, into our discussions, drawing a beautiful parallel between it and Stoic philosophy. This fusion underscores that true effort can indeed be applied without the debilitating tension of force. We've also delved into the profound psychological impacts of this philosophy, acknowledging the mental health benefits that emerge when we stop struggling against the natural flow of life. Through various anecdotes and research, we've seen how embracing non-force can significantly reduce stress and enhance our overall well-being. Think about the last time you let go of a worry. Didn't you feel a wave of relief wash over you? In terms of practical application, we've provided you with an arsenal of tools to incorporate the principle of non-force into your everyday routine. From taking mindful pauses and engaging in reflective journaling, to practicing active listening and cultivating strategic yielding, these methods are designed to weave the essence of Wu Wei and Stoic calm into the fabric of your daily life. We've encouraged you to cherish the process rather than fixate on the outcomes, fostering proactive patience and reactive resilience. Now, as you ponder these teachings, consider this. How might your life change if you embraced non-force not just as a practice, but as a philosophy? Can you identify areas in your life where letting go might bring peace and clarity? Remember, as Seneca once said, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor." Let this be a call to reflect on your desires and the forces driving your actions. As we conclude, let this discussion not be an end, but a beginning to a more serene, effortless way of living. What steps will you take today to practice the art of letting things happen, to live more in tune with the natural rhythm of life? How will you apply the wisdom of the Stoics and the concept of Wu Wei to navigate the tempests of your existence with grace and tranquility? Engage with these questions, reflect on them, and let them guide you towards a life of effortless harmony. 7 ways kindness, if unchecked, could potentially ruin your life. In today's discourse, we venture beyond mere passivity to embrace a profound engagement with life, a principle deeply rooted in Stoic wisdom. Marcus Aurelius once remarked, "Accept the things to which fate binds you and love the people with whom fate brings you together, but do so with all your heart." This captures the essence of our journey today, aligning with the natural flow of events rather than resisting them. It is about mastering the art of shaping without forcing, influencing without overpowering, and living with a deep and abiding sense of peace that arises from recognizing that while we play our roles diligently, the universe maintains its own rhythms. Wisdom, then, lies in moving harmoniously with these rhythms, not against them. By embracing this art of letting things happen, observe as your life transforms, not through force, but by allowing it to unfold in its own unpredictable and perfect pattern. This approach is not about inaction. It is about the calculated action that aligns with the broader currents of life, ensuring that our efforts are both effortless and effective. Now imagine a world where every action and intention is infused with pure, unadulterated kindness. It seems almost utopian, right? In this imagined place, benevolence is the supreme ruler, and every encounter radiates warmth and compassion. This image, while idealistic, isn't just a fantasy but a possibility within the fabric of our modern lives. Stoicism teaches us that kindness is mankind's greatest delight, a truth that resonates through ages, echoing in the tales of heroes and heroines who, with their steadfast kindness, overcame adversities and united communities. However, in our praise of kindness, we must also recognize its complexities. While kindness can bind societies together, its unchecked abundance might also bear the seeds of our undoing. This aspect, often overshadowed by its overwhelming positives, can lead us into a paradox of self-neglect, where in our quest to be universally kind, we might forget to safeguard our spirit and worth. Today we explore how to balance this virtue within the Stoic framework, integrating benevolence with self-preservation. It is through this balance that we can navigate our modern chaos, not merely as survivors, but as beacons of harmony and resilience. Through stories of ancient wisdom and modern application, we reflect on how these timeless virtues can be woven seamlessly into the tapestry of our lives. Each story and metaphor serves as a stepping stone towards a deeper understanding of how to live, not just passively, but with purpose and peace. It is here, in the interplay of effort and surrender, that we find true ease in living, making each step forward a testament to the power of living in accord with nature and virtue. Next, we're diving into an often overlooked aspect of kindness, an element so crucial yet so easily misunderstood. Have you ever considered that too much kindness, like too much water to a plant, could actually be detrimental? It's a strange concept, isn't it? That something as virtuous as kindness might, in its excess, lead to feelings of being depleted, used, or even lost. This paradox is what brings us together today, to explore the delicate balance that kindness requires, and to understand when it might be doing more harm than good. Imagine you're constantly giving your time, your resources, and your energy without pause or consideration for your own needs. It's akin to a scenario many of us face in the workplace, where the urge to constantly help others can overshadow our own priorities and lead to burnout. Consider Sarah, a graphic designer who prided herself on being the go-to person at her firm. Her kindness and readiness to assist her colleagues were legendary. However, over time, this trait led her to take on more than she could handle, neglecting her projects, and eventually feeling overwhelmed and unappreciated. Does Sarah's story sound familiar? Have you ever found yourself in a similar situation, giving too much without receiving the support you need in return? In our current digital age, the call to be endlessly kind is amplified by social media platforms and corporate branding, echoing through our educational systems. It's as if the whole world is chanting, "Always be kind." But amidst these powerful currents, it's essential to anchor ourselves with wisdom and discernment. How can we practice kindness in a way that is both genuine and sustainable? As we delve deeper, I invite you to reflect on your own experiences. Where have you felt your kindness might have crossed into self-sacrifice? Engage in this dialogue not only with me, but within yourself. Today's journey isn't just about understanding kindness, it's about fostering personal growth and learning how to wield this profound quality wisely. We will uncover 7 specific ways unchecked kindness can inadvertently disrupt your life, and, importantly, how you can steer clear of these pitfalls. Our aim isn't to lessen kindness, but to hone it, ensuring it remains the powerful, positive force we cherish. So, what does true, balanced kindness look like in your life? How can you ensure it uplifts rather than drains? By embracing a more mindful approach to kindness, we empower ourselves to lead lives enriched not just with compassion, but also with resilience and wisdom. Let's carry forward the lesson that true kindness is discerning, measured, and, above all, mindful of one's own well-being as well as that of others. In the labyrinth of modern life, where the buzz of connectivity often drowns out our own inner voice, the act of people-pleasing emerges as a double-edged sword. This trait, rooted in the best intentions, seeks to bring happiness or ease to others, but not without cost. Even Marcus Aurelius, a Stoic philosopher, once mused, "It never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinion than our own." This ancient wisdom underscores the internal tug-of-war faced by those who habitually say yes to others, often at the expense of their own well-being. People-pleasing typically starts as a small gesture, a favor for a friend, assistance to a coworker outside of work hours, or attending a family event despite personal fatigue. These acts of kindness are frequently seen as commendable, upholding societal values of selflessness and support. However, this willingness to always accommodate can quickly spiral into a relentless pursuit that leaves little room for personal reflection or growth. It's not just about being stretched thin, it's about becoming so entangled in the needs of others that one's own needs are consistently overlooked. For men aged 30 to 55, the repercussions of unchecked people-pleasing can be particularly profound. In this demographic, the pressure to conform to roles as providers, protectors, and pillars of strength is exacerbated by the desire to also appear kind and accommodating. As American novelist and poet Maya Angelou wisely said, "When someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time." This applies aptly to how one should treat oneself. Recognizing and honoring one's limits is as crucial as understanding others. The underlying danger is that in the long run, the cost of continuous self-sacrifice becomes not just a temporary inconvenience but a permanent life alteration. Relationships may suffer as resentment builds from always being the giver and never the receiver. Personal health can decline as stress accumulates. Opportunities for personal advancement may be missed due to time spent managing the burdens of others. Therefore, it becomes essential to establish boundaries, a concept often alien to the dedicated people-pleaser. Establishing limits is not an act of selfishness, but of self-respect. By prioritizing one's own needs alongside those of others, it is possible to maintain genuine and healthier relationships. This is where the Stoic reminder to control and direct one's own life comes into play, not as a rejection of kindness, but as a necessary balance to ensure personal well-being and the capacity to care for others sustainably. In conclusion, while people-pleasing is often glorified as a noble trait, its unchecked nature can lead to detrimental consequences. The challenge lies in recognizing when kindness becomes a liability rather than a strength. In the words of respected journalist Walter Lippmann, "The final test of a leader is that he leaves behind him in other men the conviction and the will to carry on." This poignant statement can be a guide for all, suggesting that true leadership and strength lie not in how much we give to others, but in how we empower ourselves and those around us to mutually prosper without sacrificing our own well-being. Therefore, it is crucial, especially for men navigating the complexities of middle age, to heed the call for balance and respect one's boundaries as much as one respects the needs of others. The ripple effects of unchecked people-pleasing, a habitual tendency to prioritize others' needs over one's own, can significantly undermine personal well-being, despite originating from a place of kindness. When you consistently say yes to others at the expense of your own needs, you may find yourself on a slippery slope that leads to physical and mental exhaustion. This often starts with seemingly harmless favors, but can quickly escalate into a cycle of overcommitment. The results? Late nights, neglected self-care routines, and an overwhelming sense of having to keep all the balls in the air. Before you know it, burnout creeps in, characterized by persistent fatigue, mood swings, and a disheartening disconnection from the activities and hobbies that once brought joy and fulfillment to your life. Consider Sarah, a project manager known in her office for never turning down a request. Her colleagues praised her as the go-to person for any last-minute emergencies. However, her willingness to always help came at a high personal cost. Over time, Sarah's health deteriorated, her relationship suffered, and her own projects fell behind. It wasn't until she faced a serious health scare that Sarah realized the toll her people-pleasing habits had taken on her life. This story isn't just Sarah's. It's a common scenario in today's high-pressure world. Does this sound familiar to you? Have you ever found yourself so caught up in meeting others' expectations that you've neglected your own well-being? The key takeaway here is the importance of setting boundaries. While it's noble to assist others, ignoring your own needs can lead to severe consequences that not only affect you, but also the quality of support you can offer others. Let this be a reminder. It's not only okay to prioritize yourself, it's necessary for a balanced and healthy life. What steps will you take to ensure you're not sacrificing your well-being for the sake of others? When we consider the acts of kindness and self-sacrifice we often engage in, it's important to ask ourselves, what happens when these actions start to take a toll on us? It begins subtly. Burnout isn't noticeable at first, but it's often just the tip of the iceberg. As we continue to prioritize the needs of others above our own, we may start feeling a simmering resentment. This emotion, though natural, can be deeply uncomfortable. It emerges when we sense that our personal boundaries are being repeatedly overlooked. You might find yourself questioning, why am I always the one making sacrifices? Or perhaps wondering, does anyone truly appreciate the efforts I put in? This growing resentment, if left unaddressed, can ironically undermine the very relationships we strive to strengthen through our acts of kindness. It's as Maya Angelou wisely observed, I've learned that you can tell a lot about a person by the way they handle these three things: a rainy day, lost luggage, and tangled Christmas tree lights. How we handle the strain of unreciprocated kindness can indeed reveal much about our personal limits and needs. So how do we ensure that our generosity does not become our downfall? How do we set boundaries that allow us to be kind without sacrificing our well-being? Reflect on these questions as you consider your own experiences. Are there times when your kindness felt more like an obligation than a voluntary act? How did that make you feel? And what did you learn from those moments? By engaging with these thoughts, we not only protect our mental and emotional health, but also preserve the quality of our relationships. It's crucial to find a balance where kindness enriches both our lives and those of others, without leading to burnout or resentment. As we navigate these challenges, let's remember the importance of self-compassion in our journey towards being kind to others. It's not just about giving to others, it's also about honoring and respecting ourselves. Kindness, when unchecked, can paradoxically lead to the erosion of one's personal identity, a phenomenon most starkly observed in chronic people-pleasers. Constantly adapting to accommodate others' needs, desires, and expectations can cause individuals to drift away from their true selves. Interests and opinions start to mirror those of peers or the popular consensus, obscuring the line between one's authentic self and the persona created to appease others. This relentless pursuit of approval can leave a person feeling hollow and unfulfilled, undermining their mental health and personal growth. The danger here isn't just the loss of identity, it's also the potential for developing relationships based on a facade rather than genuine connection. For what does it profit a man if he gains the whole world, yet forfeits his soul? This biblical sentiment echoes through the ages, stressing the importance of maintaining one's essence in the face of external pressures. It is a reminder akin to the Stoic principle that external affirmation is no substitute for self-mastery and inner peace. Expanding on this idea, the chronic people-pleaser sacrifices authenticity for acceptance, a trade-off that can lead to significant psychological distress. Studies show that people who suppress their preferences to match others' expectations tend to suffer from higher stress levels and lower psychological well-being. Over time, this can lead to a kind of existential crisis where one's own desires and aspirations become enigmatic, even to oneself. Consider the story of Marcus, a mid-level manager who prided himself on being indispensable at work. His days were spent juggling projects not just within his remit, but also taking on those dumped on him by colleagues keen to exploit his inability to say no. Over time, Marcus found himself working late nights, missing family events, and increasingly feeling like a stranger to his own desires and interests. His story is a cautionary tale about the dangers of kindness when it crosses the boundary into self-neglect. It's crucial to recognize the signs of unhealthy people-pleasing and establish boundaries that protect one's sense of self. Practical advice includes learning to say no without feeling guilty, understanding your limits, and prioritizing your needs along with those of others. As Marcus Aurelius wisely advised, you have. Moreover, the connectivity and pace of today's world amplify these challenges. Social media platforms, for instance, constantly push individuals to seek validation through likes and comments, which can intensify feelings of inadequacy and dependency on external approval. It is vital to engage with these platforms mindfully, ensuring they do not dictate one's self-esteem or identity. To maintain engagement and ensure the content flows smoothly, each point connects naturally to the next, building a cohesive narrative that underscores the importance of self-awareness and the courage to maintain one's identity amidst external pressures. This narrative not only informs but also empowers, urging an introspective journey towards self-validation that transcends superficial approval. In summary, while kindness is a virtue, its unchecked application can become a vice that disrupts personal growth and happiness. Embracing Stoicism and setting healthy boundaries are essential steps in protecting one's identity and cultivating a life that resonates with one's deepest values and aspirations. Recognizing the potential pitfalls of excessive people-pleasing is crucial to reclaiming your personal autonomy. While understanding this issue is vital, the real challenge lies in putting practical solutions into action. A key strategy in combating unchecked kindness is the establishment of healthy boundaries. Remember, boundaries are not barriers. They are vital guidelines that help you define your personal space, limits, and values. By setting clear boundaries, you start to navigate social interactions more effectively without losing sight of who you are. Consider the story of Alex, a dedicated office worker known for never saying no. Alex's desire to be universally liked turned their office into a place where colleagues would constantly dump extra tasks, knowing Alex would always help. Over time, Alex felt burned out and underappreciated, realizing that their inability to say no had made them a pushover, not a beloved team member. This realization prompted Alex to start setting boundaries, saying no to extra tasks unless absolutely necessary. This change did not only help Alex regain energy, but also earned them more respect from colleagues who began to value their time and contributions more appropriately. How often do you find yourself saying yes when you really want to say no? Setting boundaries is not about distancing yourself from others, but about fostering mutual respect and ensuring that your relationships are both healthy and reciprocal. It's important to balance kindness with personal well-being to avoid becoming overwhelmed and undervalued. In conclusion, while being kind and accommodating is valuable, it's equally important to protect your own energy and resources. Learning to set healthy boundaries is not just about saying no, but about allowing yourself the freedom to say yes when it truly matters to you. Remember, you teach people how to treat you by deciding what you will and won't accept. Make choices that empower you and enrich your relationships. Kindness is a virtue that has adorned humanity since time immemorial. It adds warmth and vibrancy to our interactions, much like vibrant threads in a grand tapestry. Yet, in this intricate design of human relations, balance is essential. How often have you found yourself saying yes when every fiber of your being wanted to say no? Reflect on this. The most potent two-letter word in the English language, no, is not just a syllable, but a declaration of self-respect. It's important to realize that declining a request isn't a rejection of the person or their needs. It's an acknowledgement of your own limits and a testament to your self-care. Asserting boundaries and saying no can sometimes lead to guilt, especially for those who naturally incline towards pleasing others. This is where the wisdom of the Stoic philosopher, Seneca, resonates deeply. It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more. That is poor. Apply this to setting limits. It is not unkind to say no, but rather a means to avoid the poverty of overextended commitments and personal depletion. Remember, by safeguarding your own well-being, you are not diminishing your kindness or value. On the contrary, you equip yourself to offer help that is both genuine and wholehearted when you are truly able to do so. Now, ask yourself, how can you implement these insights into your life to ensure that your kindness remains a strength and not a stumbling block? By recognizing the traps of excessive people-pleasing, setting clear boundaries, and mastering the art of saying no without succumbing to guilt, you can craft a life that is not only pleasing to others but also deeply fulfilling to yourself. Remember, true kindness begins with being kind to oneself. How will you start weaving this balance into your everyday life? Kindness. When expressed with purity and selflessness, it becomes a radiant beacon of humanity's best qualities. It manifests as a gentle hand offering support, a soothing voice delivering solace, and an open heart that gives generously without the faintest whisper of reciprocation. Yet, this very openness, absent the armor of discernment, renders one vulnerable to exploitation by those harboring less honorable intentions. Seneca, a stalwart of Stoic wisdom, aptly noted, "Wherever there is a human being, there is an opportunity for a kindness." Yet even he would caution us against allowing our benevolence to be weaponized against us. The painful truth is that not every hand extended in response to our own seeks a genuine connection. Some, quite simply, aim to take. This exploitation often begins inconspicuously. A colleague who perennially seeks assistance yet disappears when reversal of roles is called for. A friend whose promises of repayment are as fleeting as shadows at dusk, or perhaps a partner who voraciously consumes your emotional support but offers scant in return. As these instances accumulate, they morph from isolated events into a discernible pattern, one that skillfully mines our kindness and generosity for selfish gain. The repercussions of being habitually taken advantage of manifest in myriad ways. Initially, the emotional toll is subtle. The joy of giving and aiding begins to dim, overshadowed by a burgeoning sense of cynicism. Trust, that once unshakable foundation, starts to erode, giving way to a guardedness that taints future interactions. This transformation, once an enthusiastic helper, now a cautious observer, raises a poignant question about the sustainability of unchecked altruism. Reflecting on this, Robert Ingersoll remarked, "We rise by lifting others. But what of those times when our lifting becomes a burden so heavy that it anchors us in place?" To navigate these waters with the wisdom of the ancients, consider the Stoic practice of discernment. It's essential to balance kindness with wisdom, ensuring that our generosity enriches rather than impoverishes us. By instilling boundaries and practicing selective generosity, we protect our spirits from those who might see our open hearts as opportunities for exploitation. As we continue to dispense kindness, let it be with mindfulness, mindful of whom we help, how we help, and the extent to which our help is offered. In the modern hustle where intentions often blur, maintaining this balance ensures that our kindness remains a testament to our strength rather than a vulnerability. Remember, as we venture forth with open hearts, let us not forget to fortify them with the armor of wisdom, allowing us to discern true need from exploitative greed. This approach not only preserves our emotional reserves, but also empowers us to truly rise by lifting others, safely, wisely, and sustainably. When you generously pour out kindness without setting boundaries, it can take a significant toll not only emotionally, but also on your tangible resources, time, money, and even your physical health. Often the very people who exploit your generosity are the ones you've tried to help the most. This relentless giving can sidetrack you from personal goals, destabilize your financial situation, and even stall your career progression. But the damage isn't just external. When your kindness is taken advantage of time and again, it can trigger a storm of self-doubt. Questions like, "Am I not worth respect?" or "Why do I always end up being used?" might haunt your thoughts. These aren't just fleeting worries. They are echoes of a deeper, troubling thought. Is there something wrong with me? This constant questioning can erode your self-worth, casting a long shadow over your innate kindness, which should be a source of joy and pride, not pain. Consider Sarah, who always went above and beyond at work, staying late and taking on extra tasks without complaint. Her colleagues praised her helpful nature, yet when promotions were discussed, her name was overlooked. Sarah began to wonder if her accommodating nature, was sending the message that her time and skills were of little value. Have you ever found yourself in Sarah's shoes, giving more than you receive, and questioning whether your kindness is actually a detriment? Now, ask yourself, how can you protect your resources and self-esteem while still being kind? It's not about ceasing to help others, but about recognizing when generosity becomes self-sacrifice. Remember, it's okay to say no or to set conditions on your help. Doing so doesn't make you less kind, it makes your kindness more sustainable. By understanding and acknowledging the risks of unchecked kindness, you can ensure that your generosity enriches your life instead of undermining it. Reflect on this. How can you continue to be kind without compromising your well-being and self-respect? This insight is crucial, not just for maintaining your own health and happiness, but for truly helping others in a way that is also respectful and kind to yourself. How does one protect themselves from falling into the snares of exploitation? 1. Awareness and recognition. In today's fast-paced world, it's essential to guard oneself against exploitation while preserving the innate desire to act kindly. The art of protecting oneself begins with the mastery of awareness and recognition, two skills that are as crucial today as they were in ancient times. As Seneca once stated, it is the power of the mind to be unconquerable. This wisdom underscores the necessity of mental vigilance against those who might seek to take undue advantage. The first step in this protective journey is to recognize manipulative behaviors. These can appear in various forms, from guilt-tripping and playing the victim, to offering empty promises or constantly changing the terms of engagement, shifting goalposts. Such tactics can often lure one into a web of exploitation under the guise of helping. It's vital to differentiate these manipulative entreaties from genuine requests for assistance. This discernment allows one to act kindly without falling prey to exploitation. Recognizing manipulation requires a keen observation of human behavior and the intentions behind actions. When someone frequently uses guilt to influence your decisions, it may not always stem from a genuine place of need, but rather from a desire to control. Similarly, those who often play the victim might be using your empathy against you to achieve their ends. By identifying these patterns, you can protect yourself and make informed decisions about when and how to help. Moreover, it's essential to establish personal boundaries. This is not merely a protective measure, but a profound practice of self-respect. As Marcus Aurelius aptly noted, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. By setting clear boundaries, you communicate to others the terms of your generosity and kindness, which can deter potential manipulators. Navigating through these interactions requires a balanced approach. While it's important to be cautious, it's equally necessary not to close oneself off from genuine relationships and opportunities to help. This balance is the essence of practical wisdom in Stoicism, which encourages us to interact with the world in a manner that is both wise and compassionate. 2. The need for discernment in relationships. Understanding how to protect oneself from exploitation in relationships begins with awareness, but it certainly doesn't end there. It's crucial that you take the next step, developing discernment. Think of it as learning to separate the wheat from the chaff. This involves assessing your relationships and distinguishing between those who reciprocate your kindness and those who merely take advantage of it. It's not about making hasty decisions to cut ties, but about wisely adjusting your generosity and openness based on the true nature of each relationship. A key strategy in this process is maintaining open communication. If you notice a pattern where you feel exploited, bring it up. Sometimes the other person might not even be aware of the impact of their actions, and a frank conversation could help reset the dynamics of your relationship. Let me share a story that underscores the importance of these principles. Consider Sarah, a graphic designer who often helped her colleagues with their projects without any expectation of return. Over time, she noticed that her willingness to assist was being taken for granted, with colleagues often assuming her help without acknowledging her efforts. After reflecting on her situation, Sarah decided to address this pattern. She initiated discussions with her colleagues about the importance of mutual support and recognition in their teamwork. This not only improved her professional relationships but also established a more balanced dynamic where her contributions were valued and reciprocated. Now ask yourself, are there relationships in your life where the balance feels off? How might open and honest communication change these dynamics? As you ponder these questions, remember the essence of discernment in relationships. It's about recognizing who truly values you and contributes positively to your life. The lesson here is to nurture these reciprocal relationships and adjust or redefine boundaries where needed to protect your well-being. This approach will not only safeguard you against exploitation, but also foster healthier, more fulfilling connections. 3. The fusion of kindness with wisdom. Let's delve into the nuanced art of protecting yourself from the snares of exploitation while nurturing your innate kindness. Have you ever wondered how to balance being generous with safeguarding your own interests? This question is pivotal, as it invites us to explore the harmonious blend of kindness and wisdom. At the core of this balance is the idea that kindness does not have to be naive. Instead, it should be executed with a vigilant heart and a discerning mind. Imagine kindness like a radiant light. It illuminates, warms, but it also reveals. By incorporating awareness, discernment, and open communication into your approach to kindness, you transform your good intentions into a fortified gesture that not only spreads goodwill, but also protects you from being taken advantage of. But how do we practically apply this wisdom without succumbing to cynicism or closing ourselves off? The key lies in being selective about where and how we extend our kindness. Like a well-curated library which is open to the public yet operates under strict rules to protect its treasures, your kindness should also have boundaries. This metaphor illustrates that while your generosity is accessible, it's not unconditional or indiscriminate. After all, as Aristotle once said, it is the mark of an educated mind to be able to entertain a thought without accepting it. In the same way, it's a sign of a wise heart to entertain kindness without permitting exploitation. But what does it look like to practice this selective kindness? It means being proactive in understanding the intentions of those around you and discerning their appreciation and respect for your generosity. Are they valuing your kindness and reciprocating in their own ways? Or are they merely taking advantage of your good nature? Reflect on this as you navigate your interactions. This thoughtful approach ensures that your acts of kindness are not only felt, but also respected and valued. Moreover, fostering open communication is essential. It involves expressing your boundaries clearly and listening actively. By doing so, you create an environment where mutual respect flourishes and exploitation finds no fertile ground. This is not only a protective measure, but also a way to deepen your connections with others, allowing for genuine exchanges of generosity and appreciation. So as you continue to be kind, ask yourself, am I being wise with my kindness? Am I nurturing my generosity in a way that respects my values and boundaries? By pondering these questions, you invite an ongoing dialogue with yourself and with your community, ensuring that your kindness is both a gift and a shield. Thus, embracing kindness with wisdom is not about limiting your generosity, but about enriching it with prudence and care. It's about making sure that your kindness is as intelligent as it is heartfelt, ensuring that it goes to those who truly understand and value its depth. In this way, you safeguard your spirit against exploitation and foster a world where kindness is both wise and boundless. 4. Suppressing genuine emotions. In today's world, where the emphasis on positivity and a sunny disposition often overshadows the complex tapestry of human emotions, individuals are frequently compelled to don a mask of perpetual grace and understanding. This societal dictum resonates deeply with those of a kind-hearted nature, who might feel an implicit obligation to respond to criticism or hurtful comments with a composed smile or a forgiving nod. irrespective of their true feelings. This cultivated facade of constant cheerfulness, while seemingly virtuous and often beneficial in avoiding conflict, can paradoxically become a trap, leading to the habitual suppression of genuine emotions. Marcus Aurelius, a revered Stoic philosopher, once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This wisdom is particularly pertinent when considering the consequences of continuously masking one's true emotions. Initially, what might start as a defensive tactic to shield oneself from emotional pain or interpersonal strife gradually metamorphoses into an automatic response, stripping individuals of their authenticity. Emotions, in their unfiltered form, are not just mere feelings but vital indicators that help us navigate our personal boundaries, needs, and overall well-being. By routinely stifling these emotional signals, be it anger, sadness, or disappointment, we risk silencing this crucial internal dialogue. The habit of suppressing our genuine emotions can lead us into the snares of exploitation, as it renders us unable to assert our true feelings and needs. Over time, this can erode our self-esteem and increase our vulnerability to manipulation. To counter this, it is essential to foster an environment where expressing a full range of emotions is normalized and encouraged. It is equally important to cultivate the courage to confront and communicate our feelings openly, which can significantly mitigate the risk of emotional exploitation. In the narrative of modern life, where authenticity often takes a back seat to conformity, embracing the full spectrum of your emotions can be a revolutionary act. It is a profound exercise in self-respect and personal integrity. As the poet Maya Angelou wisely remarked, "There is no greater agony than bearing an untold story inside you." Similarly, there is a profound discomfort in suppressing your true emotional self. By encouraging open emotional expression and acknowledging our genuine feelings, we not only protect ourselves from exploitation, but also contribute to a more emotionally honest society. To navigate through this often unspoken challenge, it is crucial to remember that our emotions are the language of our psyche, narrating the truths we live by and the pains we endure. Engaging with this internal communication is not just an act of personal authenticity, but a bold step towards emotional liberation and resilience. In doing so, we not only uphold our dignity but also fortify our defenses against the subtle encroachments of exploitation that thrive in the shadows of suppressed emotions. Thus, by honoring our emotional truth, we empower ourselves to lead more fulfilling and authentic lives. The consequences of suppressing our emotions are far-reaching and complex. When we routinely push our feelings aside, our bodies and minds engage in a continuous struggle to keep these emotions concealed. This effort consumes considerable energy, often resulting in fatigue, restlessness, and even physical symptoms like headaches or digestive issues. More critically, these unexpressed emotions don't just disappear, they simmer under the surface, potentially leading to serious mental health problems, such as anxiety, depression, or a profound sense of emptiness over time. Moreover, this constant emotional suppression can sometimes lead to unexpected outbursts, where the accumulated feelings erupt in scenarios that might seem completely unrelated to their original cause. Yet perhaps the most significant impact of suppressing our emotions lies in how it affects our relationships. Authentic, deep connections rely on transparency and genuineness. If you constantly wear a mask of perpetual kindness, you're not allowing others to see, understand, and truly connect with your genuine self. This facade can shallow your relationships, preventing them from reaching a meaningful depth. Acknowledging that it's natural and healthy to experience a full range of emotions is the first step towards breaking free from the chains of emotional suppression. It's important to realize that not every situation requires a smile, nor should every comment be met with laughter. Consider this. Have you ever found yourself feigning happiness to avoid conflict or to protect someone's feelings, only to feel isolated or misunderstood? Imagine someone in a competitive work environment who suppresses their true feelings about the overwhelming stress and pressure to maintain an image of perpetual competence and resilience. Over time, This facade not only impacts their mental health, but also prevents them from forming genuine connections with colleagues who might be experiencing similar challenges. By sharing their true feelings, they could have fostered a supportive network, enhancing both their well-being and work relationships. Now ask yourself, are there emotions you've been hiding from those around you? What could change if you started expressing them more openly? In wrapping up, the lessons here are clear. Suppressing our emotions can have significant, far-reaching consequences on our physical health, mental well-being, and the depth of our relationships. Recognizing and expressing our true feelings is not only liberative, but essential for fostering genuine connections and leading a healthier, more fulfilling life. By embracing our emotions, we invite authenticity into our lives, which is the cornerstone of deep, meaningful relationships. Let's strive to live authentically, showing the world our true selves, and in turn, encouraging others to do the same. What step will you take today to move towards emotional authenticity? In the intricate dance of life, how often do we find ourselves swathed in the veils of our emotions, unsure of how to express them without the fear of exploitation? Let me guide you through a more enriching approach to emotional expression that safeguards your authenticity while ensuring that you are not manipulated or taken advantage of. Communication, my dear listeners, is our guiding star in this journey. It is crucial to express our feelings openly, but this doesn't entail an uncontrolled release of anger or an overwhelming outpouring of sadness. Instead, it's about sharing our emotions in a measured and constructive manner that respects both our well-being and that of others. Consider a scenario where a remark from a friend stings you deeply. Rather than burying this hurt, imagine you say, "I value our relationship, and that comment made me feel hurt. Can we discuss it?" This approach not only preserves the integrity of your relationship, but also fosters a deeper understanding. Aristotle once remarked, "Anyone can become angry, that is easy. But to be angry with the right person to the right degree at the right time for the right purpose and in the right way, this is not easy." His words resonate profoundly with the concept of emotional intelligence, which allows us to recognize, understand, manage, and express our emotions effectively. Emotional intelligence equips us with the tools to convey our feelings without inflicting harm, ensuring that our messages are not just heard, but truly understood. An essential part of protecting ourselves from emotional exploitation is to cultivate a supportive network. Surround yourself with friends, family, and perhaps support groups that champion emotional honesty and provide a safe haven for open dialogue. How often do we evaluate the emotional integrity of our circles? This reflection can lead to profound insights into who we should trust with our vulnerabilities. Ultimately, navigating away from suppressing our genuine emotions is a journey towards achieving authenticity. It's about embracing the full spectrum of the human experience, the highs and the lows, the joys and the sorrows. By communicating our feelings honestly and practicing emotional intelligence, we not only enhance our mental and emotional well-being, but also nurture relationships rooted in deep, genuine understanding and connection. Recall the wise words of Shakespeare, "To thine own self be true." True kindness involves more than being considerate towards others. It also encompasses being compassionate towards oneself. This kindness grants us the freedom to feel, to express, and to exist as truly holy human beings. So, I ask you, are you giving yourself the space to be authentically you, without fear of judgment or exploitation? Let's ponder this together as we continue to navigate the vast emotional landscapes of our lives, seeking paths that lead to genuine expression and profound connection. Overextending oneself. In the noble pursuit of transcending one's limitations, many individuals, especially those with kind hearts, often find themselves straining against the boundaries of their own capabilities. This quest, driven by a genuine desire to assist, uplift, and effect change, manifests itself in people taking on more than they can handle. They volunteer for additional tasks, say yes to favors, and shoulder extra responsibilities, even when their own schedules are already packed to the brim. Although the motivation behind such actions is undoubtedly altruistic, the consistent pattern of overextending oneself can lead to dire, unintended consequences. Consider the all-too-familiar scenario where a colleague asks for assistance on a project when your day is already filled with personal obligations, or a friend requests a favor during a rare moment of downtime. The instinctive reaction for many is to agree, driven by a desire to be seen as dependable, to be kind, or perhaps out of discomfort at the idea of saying no. Marcus Aurelius once remarked, "Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself and your way of thinking." This philosophy is crucial in recognizing that saying no can sometimes be a profound act of kindness towards oneself. The act of constantly overextending is akin to repeatedly drawing water from a well without allowing it time to refill. While the immediate effects may not be apparent, the long-term consequences are undeniable. Physically, the signs of overextension manifest as fatigue and exhaustion. The body wears down under the strain of unrelenting demands. Sleep patterns are disrupted, energy wanes, and a pervasive sense of weariness takes hold. Mentally, the repercussions are equally severe. Productivity suffers as responsibilities accumulate, and the quality of work declines in the race to meet ever-increasing demands. The ability to focus and deliver high-quality outcomes diminishes, and this continuous cycle of overcommitment can lead to feelings of inadequacy and diminished self-worth. Over time, the initial satisfaction derived from helping others can sour into resentment, which may be directed towards those you help or even towards yourself for failing to set healthy boundaries. The key to preventing this cycle of overextension lies in a critical realization: understanding one's limits. Acknowledging these limits is not a concession to inadequacy, but an affirmation of one's humanity and a necessary step towards sustainable altruism. As Seneca wisely advised, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor." This insight underscores the importance of managing one's resources wisely, time, energy, and capabilities, to continue being of service without compromising one's well-being. In today's fast-paced world, where the demands on our time and energy are incessant and often relentless, it's more important than ever to heed these lessons. By setting clear boundaries and honoring our own capacities, we not only protect ourselves from the snares of exploitation, but also cultivate a sustainable practice of kindness that extends to ourselves as much as to others. This approach not only enriches our lives, but also ensures that we can be a source of strength and support to others over the long haul. Thus, in navigating the complexities of modern life, let us strive to balance selflessness with self-care, ensuring that our generosity enriches rather than exhausts us. The practice of self-awareness. In navigating the complex landscapes of life, it's crucial to cultivate a robust sense of self-awareness. This means regularly checking in with yourself, assessing your energy levels, gauging your mood, and evaluating your workload. Have you ever noticed yourself feeling consistently fatigued, overwhelmed, or irritable? These are not just fleeting emotions, but perhaps signs that you are stretching yourself too thin. Let's talk about the power of saying no. It's an art, really. Declining a request or turning down an offer doesn't make you any less kind or valuable. Think of it as a momentary pause. This pause ensures that when you do agree to something, you're doing it wholeheartedly and effectively. Pair this with dedicated self-care. Prioritize activities that replenish your energy and spirit. It could be a hobby, meditation, exercise, or just taking some well-deserved breaks. It's essential to remember, you can't pour from an empty cup. Here's a story that brings this to life. Consider Sarah, a dedicated community volunteer known for never turning down a request. Over time, she found herself exhausted, her personal projects languishing, and her stress levels soaring. One day, she decided to practice saying no to additional commitments and focused on her well-being. The result? She was not only happier, but also more effective in her volunteering. Her story illustrates a vital lesson. Self-preservation is not selfish. It's necessary. Now, why is this balance so critical? Kindness is undoubtedly a profound virtue, but like anything valuable, it must be offered judiciously. It's about knowing when to step forward and when to step back. It's a delicate dance between generosity and self-preservation. The goal is not to limit your kindness, but to sustain it. Think about your own life. Are there moments when you could benefit from this balance? By recognizing your limits, practicing self-awareness, and prioritizing self-care, you can ensure that your acts of kindness are not just fleeting gestures but lifelong commitments. As you move forward, ask yourself, how can I apply these lessons to improve not only my life, but also the lives of those around me? Remember, a life well lived is all about balance, knowing when to give and when to hold back, ensuring that your generosity enriches others without depleting yourself. This is the value of learning to protect oneself from the snares of exploitation. Avoiding necessary conflict for many of us is uncomfortable. Avoiding necessary conflict is an uncomfortable reality for many of us. The very thought of engaging in disputes often brings to mind images of heated arguments, hurtful words, and lasting tension. For those among us with a naturally kind disposition, the instinct to steer clear of confrontations is particularly strong. This tendency stems from a genuine desire to maintain peace and harmony, to ensure that no one is upset or discomforted. But, have you ever paused to consider what might be the cost of this seemingly tranquil path? When we consistently shy away from necessary conflicts, the issues requiring attention don't just vanish. They burrow deeper, creating undercurrents that subtly but significantly affect our interactions and emotional landscape. These unresolved matters act like invisible walls, blocking authentic connections and mutual understanding. As time passes, these barriers accumulate, distancing us from others and breeding misunderstandings. Moreover, an atmosphere charged with unspoken tensions arises. It's the kind of environment where passive-aggressive comments or emotional outbursts sporadically erupt, and stress or anxiety may manifest physically. One might wonder, why do these tensions manifest if not directly confronted? As George Bernard Shaw famously stated, the single biggest problem in communication is the illusion that it has taken place. This illusion is often at the heart of why avoiding conflict can seem easier than addressing it head-on. However, this avoidance can rob us of crucial growth opportunities. Engaging in confrontations, though daunting, serves as a crucible for personal development, teaching us resilience, enhancing our understanding of others, and honing our communication skills. Now let us differentiate between destructive conflict, which is driven by ego and the desire to dominate, and constructive conflict, which aims for understanding, resolution, and growth. How can we embrace constructive conflict effectively? It begins with fostering effective communication. This involves active listening, really hearing what the other person is expressing, understanding their perspective, feelings, and concerns. When responding, it's vital to speak from your own experience, using phrases like, "I feel," instead of accusatory "you did" statements. This approach reduces defensiveness and promotes a more open dialogue. Ask yourself, when confronted with a potential conflict, do you seek to understand before you seek to be understood? By clarifying any ambiguities and asking questions rather than making assumptions, we pave the way for resolutions that are not just about maintaining peace, but about deepening mutual understanding and connection. In navigating these choppy waters of conflict and communication, remember the words of Fred Rogers, "The greatest gift you ever give is your honest self." In sharing our true selves, in engaging with the challenges and not just the easy parts of relationships, we find a path to genuine understanding and growth. How, then, might you move forward in your next challenging conversation? Will you choose temporary peace or strive for lasting resolution and understanding? Let's discuss this together. What are your thoughts and experiences with handling conflict, and how has it shaped your relationships and personal growth? In the quest to navigate the complexities of interpersonal dynamics and self-worth, it is essential to harness shared goals and mutual concerns as a sturdy foundation. By doing so, we encourage a platform where differing opinions aren't just tolerated, but are welcomed as opportunities for deeper understanding. Indeed, the Stoic philosopher Epictetus once remarked, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This sentiment underscores the importance of facing conflicts head-on, not as adversaries in a battle, but as collaborators in pursuit of clearer skies and stronger bonds. The true essence of engaging with conflict constructively is not about seeking agreement at all times, but about cultivating a courage that prioritizes depth, growth, and genuine connection over mere appeasement. Yet in our noble pursuit of selflessness, a trait often lauded in our cultural narratives as the pinnacle of virtue, we must tread cautiously. The tales of heroes who place the needs of the many above their own, the individuals who sacrifice their personal desires for the greater good, all paint a beautiful yet perilous picture. While these acts of kindness are rooted in a profound love for humanity and a desire to foster positive change, they should not lead us to neglect our own self-worth. Marcus Aurelius, another revered Stoic philosopher, wisely stated, "Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself in your way of thinking." It's a potent reminder that when we continuously sideline our own needs, we inadvertently send ourselves a message that diminishes our intrinsic value, which can cascade into a series of negative self-assessments and missed opportunities. The consequences of consistently undervaluing oneself are far-reaching. It starts subtly. You might find yourself hesitating to voice your opinion, feeling as though your contributions are negligible. Over time, this perception of being less than can lead to a chronic undervaluation in both personal and professional realms. You may shy away from advocating for a well-deserved promotion, from pursuing a dream, or from standing up for your beliefs, thereby dimming the full spectrum of your potential. To counteract this, it is crucial to balance altruism with self-respect. We must recognize that caring for oneself is as vital as caring for others. This balance is not just a strategy for personal health, but a duty to the world, which is deprived of the best we have to offer when we diminish ourselves. As we weave these lessons into the fabric of modern life, let us remember that the act of protecting oneself from exploitation starts with valuing oneself rightly. By embracing these practices, not only do we safeguard our self-esteem, but we also empower ourselves to contribute more fully to the collective well-being. In summary, as we navigate the treacherous waters of selflessness and conflict, let us cling to the wisdom of the Stoics, who teach us that the real journey is within. By finding common ground, we open doors to mutual understanding and growth, and by maintaining a balanced sense of self-worth, we ensure that our lights shine brightly, unobscured, guiding not just ourselves but also those around us towards a more enlightened path. In our fast-paced world, it's easy to overlook the importance of protecting ourselves from exploitation, often mistaking self-neglect for resilience or generosity. How can we strike that delicate balance between caring for others and not losing sight of our own value? It begins with embracing self-compassion, treating ourselves with the same level of understanding, patience, and love that we so freely give to others. This doesn't mean tipping the scales towards becoming self-centered. Rather, it's about maintaining a balanced approach where you recognize and celebrate your own achievements as enthusiastically as you would for someone else, and view your failures not as a reflection of your worth but as opportunities for growth. Imagine Sarah, a young professional who always stayed late at work, taking on extra projects to help her team. Over time, she felt increasingly exhausted and underappreciated, sensing that her kindness was being exploited. After attending a workshop on assertiveness, Sarah learned to voice her needs respectfully and set clear boundaries. She started to say no to additional responsibilities that interfered with her well-being, and communicated her limits to her colleagues. Through this, Sarah not only found a renewed sense of control over her work-life balance, but also noticed a shift in how her peers respected her time and contributions. Developing a nurturing inner voice is a crucial step in this journey. This voice should uplift rather than belittle, encouraging you to assert your needs and boundaries in a manner that is respectful, yet firm. Assertiveness doesn't imply aggression, but involves expressing yourself clearly and confidently. Consider engaging in assertiveness training or workshops to refine these skills. Moreover, integrating self-compassion and assertiveness involves practical steps such as dedicating time for regular self-reflection to understand your aspirations and needs. Challenge negative self-beliefs with positive affirmations, validate your feelings, and clearly communicate your boundaries. It's okay to prioritize your well-being and say no. Additionally, seek constructive feedback from those you trust to gain insights that align your self-perception with how others see you. Investing in personal growth through reading, workshops, or therapy can profoundly enhance your self-awareness and assertiveness. True kindness towards oneself does not diminish the kindness one can offer others. By nurturing your self-worth and ensuring your reservoir of self-love is abundant, you empower yourself to offer more genuine, sustainable, and impactful kindness to the world. Valuing oneself is not an act of selfishness. It's fundamental. It ensures that your acts of kindness are not born out of an empty place of lack, but from a place of fullness and choice, stemming from love, not obligation. Have you ever found yourself giving too much without receiving the respect you deserve? How can you apply these principles of self-compassion and assertiveness to better protect your interests in such situations? Remember, investing in yourself is the first step toward ensuring that all your relationships are balanced and mutually respectful, enabling you to engage with the world from a position of strength and genuine affection. Have you ever stopped to think about how kindness is portrayed across different cultures and histories? Often painted with broad strokes on the canvas of human virtues, kindness has been celebrated, yet its true essence seems to have been lost in translation and oversimplified over time. What's more, a few pervasive myths have arisen, casting long shadows over the true nature of kindness. For instance, have you ever encountered the idea that being kind means being passive, submissive, or inherently weak? This misconception likely stems from tales as old as time where the kind-hearted protagonist is depicted as docile, or from societal norms that equate gentleness with a lack of strength. But is this truly what kindness means? The truth is far more nuanced. Adhering to the belief that kindness equates to perpetual passivity can lead to numerous challenges. Imagine constantly yielding or suppressing your voice. Might others start to see you as indecisive or weak? This perception, even if unfounded, can have real implications in settings like workplaces, where decisiveness and strength are prized. Moreover, consistently sidelining your desires or opinions in the name of kindness might lead colleagues to see you as lacking conviction, friends as disinterested, and partners as indifferent. The ripple effect of this misunderstanding can be profound, leading to reduced opportunities, strained relationships, and a diminished sense of self-worth. So, what's the crux of the issue? It's not the act of kindness itself, but the flawed understanding and application of it. True kindness is neither weak nor passive. It is a potent combination of compassion, wisdom, and strength. Consider the words of philosopher and former Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius, a staunch advocate of Stoicism. Kindness is mankind's greatest delight. True kindness involves knowing when and how to exercise your power with grace and for the right reasons. It's about being assertive and standing up for what's right, not only for yourself, but for others as well. True kindness is the strength in lending a hand to someone in need, the wisdom in knowing when silence can speak louder than words, and the courage to stand against injustices. Now think about your own life. How often do you equate kindness with weakness? Can you recall instances where your acts of kindness were perhaps misinterpreted, How can you apply true kindness in your daily interactions to avoid the snares of exploitation and misunderstanding? Engaging with these thoughts not only helps us redefine and reclaim the essence of kindness, but also empowers us to navigate our interactions with more awareness and assertiveness. Remember, true kindness is about balance. It is compassionate, yet strong, gentle, yet assertive, selfless, yet self-aware. How will you choose to embody this balanced approach to kindness in your life? Here are ways to practice assertive kindness. In today's fast-paced world, where personal gain often eclipses collective welfare, the fine art of protecting oneself against exploitation while practicing assertive kindness becomes indispensable. This art is not about wielding power ruthlessly, but about marshaling strength with compassion, guiding one's actions with wisdom, and ensuring that kindness acts as a shield and a beacon rather than a weakness to be exploited. Firstly, educating oneself about the behavioral nuances that differentiate passivity, aggression, and assertiveness is crucial. It's essential to inhabit the assertive middle ground, where kindness flourishes not as a byproduct of submission, but as a testament to strength. As Seneca famously articulated, it is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor. This principle serves as a poignant reminder that the truly powerful are those who command their desires, not those overwhelmed by them. Clear communication is the cornerstone of assertive kindness. Expressing your needs, beliefs, and feelings transparently does not dilute kindness. Rather, it reinforces its authenticity. By communicating clearly, one ensures that their acts of kindness are not mistaken for passivity or manipulation. This clarity fortifies relationships, engendering a genuine respect and understanding between individuals. Furthermore, setting and respecting boundaries is an essential aspect of nurturing kindness. By defining your limits clearly, you not only protect your well-being, but also command respect from others. This echoes the words of Marcus Aurelius. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. The establishment of boundaries is a declaration of one's understanding and respect for oneself and others. Leading with empathy is equally significant in this pursuit. By striving to understand the emotions and needs of others, we navigate our interactions with grace and precision. This empathetic approach enables one to be kind and assertive simultaneously, addressing conflicts and misunderstandings before they escalate into exploitation. Seeking role models who embody assertive kindness can provide both inspiration and practical guidance. History and everyday life are replete with figures who have balanced kindness with firmness, leveraging their empathy and assertiveness to effect positive change and protect themselves and others from manipulation. The narrative surrounding kindness needs an evolution. It's imperative to recognize that kindness, when wielded with assertiveness and clarity, becomes an unassailable strength. It molds individuals into leaders who are not only decisive and passionate advocates, but also compassionate and thoughtful human beings. These individuals build their strength not with the blunt force of a sledgehammer, but with the precision of a scalpel, careful, effective, and mindful of the impact of their actions. In conclusion, the true essence of kindness is multifaceted, powerful, and profoundly transformative. It is not merely the absence of strength, but the presence of strength utilized with love and purpose. As we delve into the layers of assertive kindness, it becomes clear that every act of genuine kindness stems from a deep reservoir of wisdom and inner strength. Let this understanding guide you as a beacon of hope and humanity, illuminating paths and lives with the unwavering light of compassionate strength. As we embrace this ethos, let us remember the words that resonate with Stoic wisdom. Kindness is not the absence of strength, but the presence of strength used lovingly. Hold this principle close, and let the robustness of your kindness illuminate the world, standing as a steadfast beacon of hope and humanity. Your Stoic Day Secrets to living life to the fullest. Have you ever longed for an invisible shield to guard against the chaos of life? Or wished for a steadfast compass to navigate through its unpredictable storms? What if you had access to a daily blueprint that could ensure a sense of unshakable calm, no matter the circumstances? These aspirations, while lofty, were effectively addressed centuries ago by thinkers who mastered the art of living with grace under pressure. This profound wisdom known as Stoicism remains as vibrant and relevant today as when it first emerged in ancient Greece. Esteemed figures such as Seneca, Epictetus, and the Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius didn't just philosophize about life, they provided a practical manual for living it. Contrary to common misconceptions, Stoicism doesn't advocate for the suppression of emotions or a life devoid of feelings. Instead, it teaches us to understand our emotions, to recognize our reactions to external circumstances, and to consciously choose a path that leads to internal peace and virtuous action. At the heart of Stoic philosophy are several key principles, understanding what is within our control. We cannot control everything that happens in life, but we can control how we respond. This recognition can liberate us from much suffering, allowing us to find calm in chaos. Pursuing virtue. Stoicism teaches that the true measure of success lies not in our achievements, but in the integrity and virtue with which we pursue them. It's the journey and our conduct along the way that truly count. Accepting nature's course. Stoics perceive the world as governed by a rational order, which, when understood and accepted, allows us to live in harmony with it. Valuing the present. Amidst the regrets of the past and anxieties for the future, Stoicism emphasizes the importance of the present moment, our only true possession. Now let's apply these timeless principles through a modern lens. Imagine you're faced with a high-pressure situation at work, similar to the kind that Marcus Aurelius might have encountered in his reign. Instead of succumbing to panic or frustration, you take a deep breath and remind yourself of what is within your control, your response and your actions. You focus on handling the situation with integrity, without worrying about the uncontrollable outcomes. This not only helps you maintain your composure, but also inspires those around you to adopt a similar approach. But how can we integrate these Stoic practices into our daily lives? This is where the significance of a daily routine comes in, embedding small acts of mindfulness and reflection into your day, whether it's a morning meditation, a nightly journaling session, or periodic reflections throughout the day. So let me ask you, how will you start incorporating these Stoic principles into your daily routine? What steps will you take today to live more fully in the present? As you ponder these questions, remember that the journey of Stoicism is not about reaching a destination, but about cultivating a life of peace, resilience, and virtue. By embracing these principles, you can transform not only your own life, but also positively influence those around you. This is the true value that Stoicism brings to our contemporary lives, a beacon of calm in a turbulent world. Daily routines serve as the bedrock upon which we construct the edifices of our lives. They provide us with structure, focus, and a conduit through which we can channel our beliefs into tangible, actionable steps. For a devoted Stoic like yourself, a well-orchestrated daily routine transcends the mere execution of tasks. It becomes a living manifestation of core Stoic principles. Each morning offers a fresh start, an opportunity to face life's challenges with unwavering calm and to seize the present moment fully, thus growing ever wiser and stronger with each passing day. Why is this so crucial, you might wonder? Today, I invite you to explore a Stoic routine that you can seamlessly weave into the fabric of your everyday existence. This routine is deeply rooted in the wisdom of the ages, yet is meticulously tailored for the hectic pace of the modern world. This journey we're about to undertake isn't merely another chapter in a self-help manual. It is a transformative expedition that promises to enrich your life with profound purpose and clarity. By integrating these practices into your daily life, you will not just learn about Stoicism, you will live it, making each day a living tribute to its timeless relevance and power. Now, whether you are a seasoned philosopher or a newcomer eager to dip your toes into the Stoic way of life, this routine has something to offer. What changes might you notice in your life if you started each day with a Stoic reflection? Let's delve into this together, embracing the Stoic ideals of courage, temperance, wisdom, and justice, and weaving them into the very core of our daily activities. Marcus Aurelius once mused, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love." How might your mornings change if you embraced this Stoic perspective? How might your days transform if you viewed every challenge as an opportunity to practice virtue? In this video, we will outline these questions and more, guiding you through each step of crafting a daily routine that not only fosters growth but also harmonizes seamlessly with your inner philosophy. So, let us embark on this voyage together, integrating Stoic principles into our daily rhythms and thus crafting lives of deep fulfillment and resilience. What aspects of your daily routine could be realigned to reflect Stoic virtues? How might this realignment transform your perspective on day-to-day challenges and successes? Join me in this exploration, and together, let's discover the profound impact that living a truly Stoic life can have. In the tranquility of dawn, as the first rays of sunlight streak across the sky, a Stoic embraces a moment of profound reflection, a daily ritual that sets the tone for the day. This isn't merely about musing over a cup of coffee or planning the day's tasks. Rather, it's a deliberate act of recalibrating one's mind to the wisdom of Stoicism, a philosophy that teaches us the art of living with intention and resilience. Every morning presents a blank canvas, an untouched slate. This is our opportunity to anchor our intentions, paint our actions with purpose, and embed our daily hustle with philosophical depth. The Stoics, wise as they were, harnessed the serene aura of the morning to ground themselves in these timeless teachings. Think of the whole universe of matter and how small your share. Think about the expanse of time and how brief, almost momentary, the part marked for you. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his Meditations. His words resonate through ages, urging us to cherish the gift of life. In a world barraged by endless notifications and burgeoning to-do lists, we often lose sight of this simple miracle. To breathe is to be alive. To think is to engage with the world. To enjoy is to appreciate the full spectrum of life's experiences. And to love is to connect deeply with others. Morning reflections are more than an exercise in appreciation. They are a Stoic's defense against the ephemeral nature of existence. By reminding ourselves of life's impermanence, we cultivate a deep-seated gratitude and a vibrant sense of urgency. This practice transforms how we approach our daily challenges, deepening our joys and making our actions more impactful. Moreover, embracing the Stoic morning reflection helps us navigate life with a more grounded perspective. It encourages us to sift through what matters most, urging us to transcend trivial worries, to forgive with ease, to love without reservation, and to act with deliberate intent. By starting our day with these reflections, we do not just prepare to face the world, we prepare to transform it, one thoughtful step at a time. This isn't just about surviving another day, but about thriving in it, fully aware of the fleeting nature of time and our role within it. It's a powerful way to live, blending ancient wisdom with the rhythm of modern life, ensuring that each day we are not merely moved by life, but that we move it, steering ourselves with philosophical precision toward what truly matters. 7 Stoic Principles for a Good Life. Building on this foundation of morning reflection, the Stoics introduced 7 principles that's both simple and transformative. 1. The dichotomy of control. In the serene quiet of the morning, as the world awakes, imagine beginning your day not just with coffee or tea, but with a potent ritual of reflection, a practice deeply embedded in Stoic philosophy. This moment of introspection sets the tone for your entire day, priming you to live deliberately and purposefully. Stoicism, a beacon from ancient Greece, still casts a luminous path on how we can navigate the complexities of contemporary life. And one of its most compelling teachings is the dichotomy of control. What is within our grasp? What slips through our fingers like grains of sand? These are questions the Stoics implore us to ask. The dichotomy of control teaches us to differentiate between what we can influence and what we must accept. This might seem trivial, yet it's a profound compass for maintaining tranquility amid life's storms. Consider the sudden rainstorm that cancels your plans, a friend's offhand comment that lingers in your mind, or a global crisis that disrupts economies. How do we respond? While these events are beyond our control, our reaction is not. The true power lies in our response. By concentrating only on what we can change, we liberate ourselves from the fruitless pursuit of external approval and the anxiety of unpredictable circumstances. Think about the liberation that comes with embracing this principle fully. Daily nuisances, unexpected challenges, and even major life upheavals are reframed not as barriers, but as avenues to practice Stoic resilience. Integrating Stoic practices into our daily lives builds a robust framework that supports us in the modern world. Initiating your day with gratitude and recognizing the transient nature of life can dramatically shift how you approach each moment, each challenge, each interaction. Stoicism, though ancient, offers timeless wisdom that provides practical tools for personal growth, inner peace, and a life of true fulfillment. How often do we let external events disturb our peace? Can you recall a recent instance where a small inconvenience disproportionately affected your mood? Imagine instead viewing such instances as opportunities to apply Stoic wisdom, transforming everyday irritations into moments of learning and growth. Stoicism is more than just philosophical contemplation. It's a daily practice that invites us to live with intention and virtue. Whether you're new to this philosophy or a seasoned practitioner, each day presents a new chance to embody these teachings and sculpt a life of wisdom, virtue, and contentment. As you continue on your Stoic path, ask yourself, how can I apply the dichotomy of control today to live a better life? What steps can I take to deepen my understanding and practice of this principle? Let's carry this discussion forward, exploring not only how Stoicism teaches us to navigate life, but how we can actively integrate these lessons into our everyday actions and attitudes. Together, let's build lives marked by resilience, peace, and profound satisfaction. 2. Embrace discomfort. Next, let's delve into a profound Stoic principle. Embrace discomfort. Imagine this as a journey where every challenging step is not a hurdle, but a pathway to profound personal growth. The Stoics weren't just philosophers. They were practitioners of life's tough lessons, actively seeking experiences that tested their resilience and expanded their capabilities. Why do they value discomfort? It's simple. While comfort might soothe, it's the challenges and discomfort that truly shape us. Have you ever stepped under a cold shower? Think about that sudden shock of cold water. It's more than just a physical sensation. It's a mental battle, a moment of confronting your comfort zone. Each icy droplet not only refreshes but also transforms, teaching you to find calm in chaos, to breathe through the shock. It's a perfect metaphor for life's uncomfortable moments that demand you to be more than you thought you could be. Consider physical exertion, like an intense workout or a long, strenuous hike. Your muscles might scream, your breath may shorten, but with every additional rep or step, you're building not just physical strength but mental fortitude. It's about pushing beyond what feels easy or familiar to forge a spirit that can endure, adapt, and thrive. Isn't it incredible how our bodies can reflect the strengths of our minds? Now think about social challenges, speaking in public, starting a difficult conversation, or sharing your true feelings. These moments can be terrifying, yet they are crucibles for growth. Each time you speak up, despite a trembling voice or a pounding heart, you practice stoic bravery, the courage to face what frightens you. Seneca, a luminary in Stoic thought, once said, "It is not because things are difficult that we do not dare, it is because we do not dare that they are difficult." Reflect on this statement. How often have you found something daunting only because you hesitated, allowing fear to cloud your judgment? By choosing to step forward, to embrace the discomfort, you don't just overcome the challenge, you transform your perception of what's possible. This principle of embracing discomfort does more than foster personal growth. It influences those around us. Your courage to step beyond comfort can inspire others, showing them the power of confronting the unknown. It's a collective journey where each personal victory adds to a societal shift, lifting us all to higher potentials. So let me ask you, what is your cold shower? What challenge can you embrace today that will push your limits and expand your horizons? Remember, in the embrace of discomfort, we find the true essence of growth and transformation. Let's dare to step beyond the familiar and see where this stoic journey takes us. 3. Practice negative visualization. In the tapestry of life, where hopes and dreams often paint our perspective with optimism, Stoicism invites us to entertain a seemingly paradoxical practice: negative visualization. This ancient technique, far from cultivating despair, serves as a profound tool for resilience and appreciation. Imagine for a moment the tranquility of a sunlit meadow, symbolizing our daily lives filled with comfort and joy. Now consider stepping into the contrasting shadows of a dense forest, where the uncertainties of life lurk. This is the essence of negative visualization, a stoic exercise that might initially seem counterintuitive, but holds invaluable benefits. It's about venturing beyond the comfort of optimism to explore the potential adversities that life may throw our way. This isn't about fostering pessimism, but preparing for and truly appreciating the present by understanding the impermanence of our circumstances. Envision waking up without the comforts you currently enjoy, experiencing the loss of a loved one, or facing a sudden health crisis. These thoughts are unsettling, yet they serve a critical purpose. The Stoics didn't dwell on such scenarios to invite sorrow into their hearts, but to cultivate a deep sense of gratitude and to fortify their mental resilience. As Seneca once said, "He who has learned to suffer has learned to live." This mindset transformation turns the mundane into the extraordinary, making the simple joys and daily comforts we often overlook appear as cherished treasures. In the vivid landscape of our minds, when we simulate these adversities, we are not merely indulging in dark fantasies, but are conducting thoughtful experiments. How would we react? What inner strengths would we draw upon? This mental rehearsal is akin to a fire drill, preparing us not to panic but to act with composure and decisiveness when real challenges arise. By exploring these scenarios, we address the root of our fears, the unknown, and transform it into a familiar landscape where we can navigate with confidence. Moreover, this practice brings a stoic calm to our responses when life does inevitably veer off course. "I was prepared for this" becomes a mantra that invokes the strength accumulated through our mental rehearsals. Marcus Aurelius aptly noted, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." However, it is crucial to balance how often and deeply we engage in negative visualization. Like any tool, if misused, it can lead to anxiety, rather than preventing it. The objective is to build resilience and foster appreciation without allowing the exercise to dominate our mental landscape. Incorporating Stoic practices into modern life extends beyond personal reflection to influence our interactions within society. Whether responding to a rude remark or addressing societal challenges, Stoicism equips us with a compass for action rooted in wisdom, courage, and virtue. In every facet of life, these ancient principles guide us, helping navigate the complexities of modern existence with a steady, resilient spirit. As we weave the principles of Stoicism into the fabric of our daily lives, we find that the ancient wisdom of expecting and preparing for the unexpected not only enriches our experiences, but empowers us in ways that transcend time and circumstance. In embracing the shadows along with the light, we uncover a more profound appreciation for life's fleeting beauty and build a foundation of inner strength that sustains us through any storm. This seamless integration of Stoic practices enhances our lives, proving that the teachings of old can indeed guide us through the modern world's complexities. 4. Take action with purpose. Stoicism is not merely an academic pursuit, it embodies a practical philosophy for living a purposeful life. In the Stoic doctrine, while introspection, emotional mastery, and sharp thinking hold great significance, taking decisive action remains central. Actions, in the Stoic sense, are not random but are imbued with purpose, grounded in virtue, and reflective of our authentic selves. Consider Stoicism as more than a philosophical school. It's a comprehensive guide for navigating life. The Stoics teach us that life is not meant to be observed passively. Rather, it's an active arena where thoughts, emotions, and actions intertwine. They don't endorse withdrawing from the world. Instead, they advocate for vigorous participation, driven by ethical virtues like wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. These virtues act as your moral compass, helping you navigate through daily choices, ensuring your actions mirror your noblest self. Despite striving for this ideal, a Stoic is not without flaws. Stoicism recognizes human imperfection and sees life as a continual journey of learning from our errors and refining our actions. How often do we find ourselves caught in the monotonous tide of daily routines, with days blurring together, marked by a dull sameness? Stoicism disrupts this monotony, compelling us to infuse each day with deliberate and meaningful actions. These actions need not always be grand. Even small tasks can have profound impacts if aligned with our deeper values. Imagine reading a book chapter to expand your mind, assisting a neighbor, or dedicating time to a personal project that reflects your values. Through these purposeful acts, we transform ordinary days into a rich mosaic of meaningful moments, each crafted with intent and significance. Seneca's enduring words, "As long as you live, keep learning how to live," resonate here, not just as a call for lifelong learning, but as a deep insight into life's ever-changing nature. Life is a dynamic journey with varying phases, each bringing its own challenges and joys. Living, in the Stoic sense, is about harmonizing with this dynamic flow, continually adapting and evolving. Every interaction and challenge is a learning opportunity. When approached with a Stoic mindset, these experiences offer invaluable lessons in living purposefully. Truly living, then, is about aligning our daily actions with our values, driven by virtue and self-awareness. It's about ensuring that every day counts, not by societal standards of success, but by Stoic ideals of virtue, purpose, and personal growth. Stoicism, while deeply personal, doesn't mean solitude. It acknowledges our need for connections and community. Our purpose-driven actions, stemming from personal convictions, have ripple effects that can uplift not only ourselves but also enhance our broader community. Now, how will you apply this Stoic principle in your own life today? How can you ensure that your daily actions not only advance your personal growth but also contribute positively to those around you? Remember, every small step taken with purpose can lead to significant transformations, not just in your life, but in the broader tapestry of our shared human experience. Let's strive to make each action count, building a life of purpose and a community of virtue. 5. Evening reflection. Imagine, if you will, the day coming to a close. The sun dips below the horizon and the world quiets, a daily performance that mirrors the ancient dance between day and night, action and reflection, light and darkness, progress and rest. In this tranquil moment, as the evening ushers in, it brings with it a poignant opportunity for introspection, a time that Stoic philosophy cherishes deeply, the practice of evening reflection. Why, you might ask, is this practice so revered? Consider the profound ability we possess, the gift of human consciousness, to step back and evaluate ourselves, our day, without bias. The Stoics understood the immense value in this. Each evening, they would retreat into quiet introspection, a peaceful review of the day's events. This wasn't about critiquing oneself harshly or dwelling on what went wrong. Instead, it was a chance to deeply understand oneself, to recognize achievements however small, and to see clearly where we might improve. Now think about your own day. Reflect on the moments that stood out, the decisions you made, the emotions that swept through you. In Stoicism, there's a crucial concept known as the dichotomy of control. It asks us to discern what's in our control and what isn't. When reflecting on your day, consider this. Was that rude remark from a coworker something you could control, or the unexpected challenge that threw your plans off course? Likely not. But how you responded to these events, the emotions you chose to engage with, and the decisions you made in response, those are all within your realm of influence. Evening reflection offers us a lens to view these experiences, helping us to separate external circumstances from our internal reactions. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Reflect on this as you consider your day. By acknowledging what's truly within our control, we free ourselves from unnecessary guilt and empower ourselves to manage our reactions, our mindset, and our actions more effectively. This practice doesn't just serve as closure for the day, it's also a bridge to the next. With the insights gained from today, patterns recognized, and growth areas identified, it's also a moment to mentally prepare for tomorrow. This preparation isn't about detailed plans or rigid goals, but about a quiet resolve to continue embodying Stoic virtues, to face uncertainties with equanimity, and to act with integrity and purpose. It's a reaffirmation of your commitment to your Stoic journey, to continue striving for a virtuous life. As you reflect on the power of evening introspection, ask yourself, how can I apply these insights to better face tomorrow's challenges? Remember, Stoicism, while rooted in ancient history, remains incredibly relevant. Its teachings, its wisdom resonate just as powerfully in our lives today as they did on the ancient streets of Rome or in the philosophical schools of Athens. Evening reflection is more than just a practice. It's a testament to the enduring appeal of Stoicism and its capacity to guide us in a meaningful quest for a good life. So, as the night falls and the world pauses, take this time to connect with yourself, to learn, to grow, and to prepare for another day of living deliberately and purposefully. What will your reflections reveal tonight? 6. Journaling. In our rapidly evolving world where chaos often reigns and serenity seems like a distant dream, the ancient practice of journaling emerges as a beacon of clarity and self-understanding. This method, deeply ingrained in Stoic philosophy, is not merely about documenting events but engaging in a profound dialogue with oneself. As Marcus Aurelius once said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." Through journaling, we ensure these thoughts are not only heard, but understood. Journaling serves as a mirror to our soul, reflecting our innermost thoughts and fears, aspirations and doubts. In the tumult of daily life, where distractions abound, this practice grants us a moment of solitude and introspection. It pulls us away from the incessant noise, from the reactive stance that life often forces upon us, and into a contemplative state where our thoughts guide us rather than confuse us. This act of writing down our experiences and reflections is instrumental in cultivating clarity, which in Stoic practice is as vital as a compass to a sailor. Clarity helps us navigate through life's storms, distinguishing between what is within our control and what is beyond it. Each word we pen down maps the contours of our inner landscape, helping us to identify recurring patterns, confront our fears, and crystallize our life's goals. Life throws various challenges our way, some trivial like a spilled cup of coffee, others seismic like the loss of a loved one. To the untrained mind, these can trigger a cascade of distress. However, a Stoic views these not merely as challenges, but as opportunities for growth and learning. By journaling, we dissect these experiences, asking ourselves critical questions. What elements of this situation can I control? How does this align with my Stoic values? How can I transform this obstacle into an opportunity? This methodical analysis through journaling transforms it from a simple diary into a powerful Stoic exercise. As we engage with our thoughts on paper, we invite the spirits of Stoic masters like Seneca and Epictetus to guide us. Their ancient wisdom, viewed through our modern lens, helps us not just to record our emotions but to master them. Stoicism does not teach us to suppress our feelings, but to understand and control them. By externalizing these emotions on paper, we step back and view them as separate from ourselves, which is immensely therapeutic and enlightening. Why am I disturbed by this? What underlying beliefs are being challenged? These are the types of inquiries that, when explored in the privacy of our journal, lead to profound emotional insight and maturity. Furthermore, the regular act of writing about Stoic principles ingrains these concepts into our psyche, moving them from theoretical knowledge to practical, everyday tools. Marcus Aurelius's own writings, collected in Meditations, were essentially his personal journal, and remain one of history's most insightful glimpses into a Stoic mind at work. His reflective words continue to inspire many to this day, underscoring the enduring power of journaling. To incorporate this practice into daily life is not just to follow in the footsteps of Stoic philosophers, but to arm oneself with a tool for personal growth and resilience. Alongside the retrospective nature of journaling stands the proactive technique of visualization. This Stoic strategy involves mentally preparing for the day's potential challenges, visualizing not only the obstacles but also one's responses to them. It's akin to running a mental simulation to prepare for the actual events of the day. This visualization not only anticipates difficulties, but also primes us to respond in ways that are aligned with Stoic virtues, ensuring that our actions are thoughtful and our demeanor composed no matter what the day holds. Together, journaling and visualization equip us with a robust framework for dealing with the complexities of modern life. They enable us to maintain a Stoic calm in the face of adversity, and to turn every challenge into a stepping stone towards greater wisdom and inner peace. Through these practices, we transform our transient experiences into lessons of growth and perseverance, fortifying our journey towards a Stoic good life. 7. Empathy and understanding. Empathy and understanding are not just lofty ideals within Stoic philosophy. They're practical tools embedded in the very interactions that color our daily lives. When you navigate the streets, the workplace, or even your own home, remember that each person you meet is facing their own silent battles. These battles are often invisible, tucked away beneath outward expressions that might seem curt or indifferent. Consider this. The colleague who responded brusquely in your last meeting might be struggling with personal issues, or the passerby who didn't hold the door could have just received devastating news. Stoicism teaches us that what we see on the surface is just the tip of the iceberg. The bulk of personal experiences, emotions, and struggles remain hidden, submerged beneath what's visible. Let me share a story that brings this principle to life. Imagine a young manager named Sarah, tasked with leading a team under tight deadlines. One of her team members, John, starts missing deadlines and appears disengaged. Initial frustration might prompt Sarah to consider a stern reprimand. However, embracing Stoic empathy, she decides to first invite John for a coffee. During their chat, Sarah learns that John has been dealing with the illness of a close family member. This new perspective doesn't erase the deadlines, but it shifts Sarah's approach to one of support and understanding, fostering a deeper connection and ultimately, a more motivated team member. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Whenever you feel like criticizing anyone, Just remember that all the people in this world haven't had the advantages that you've had. This poignant reminder calls us to practice humility and to recognize that our viewpoints and experiences are not universal. What might be a minor inconvenience to you could be a significant hurdle for someone else, and vice versa. So how can we apply this understanding daily? It starts with a pause, a moment to reflect before reacting. It involves imagining the world from another's perspective, even briefly. This simple shift can transform potential conflicts into opportunities for connection and mutual understanding. It not only makes us better communicators, but also enriches our relationships. But why stop at individual interactions? When empathy and understanding become the norm, the effects ripple outward, fostering societies that prize connection over conflict and harmony over discord. So, I ask you, in what ways can you practice empathy today to not only enrich your own life, but also touch the lives of others around you? Let these thoughts guide you as you navigate your interactions. Whether you're dealing with a difficult boss, a challenging neighbor, or even a stranger, remember the power of understanding and patience. Each act of kindness, each moment of genuine empathy, has the potential to transform not just your day, but the collective fabric of our society. Let's make empathy a cornerstone of our daily interactions and watch as the world transforms one thoughtful act at a time. As we conclude our journey through a Stoic guide to effortless living here on Stoic in Your Life, remember that the path to serenity and resilience is a continuous, deliberate practice. Applying these Stoic principles daily not only enhances personal growth, but also cultivates a deeper sense of happiness and fulfillment. Start small. Choose one teaching from today's video and integrate it into your routine. Notice the subtle shifts in your perspective and the strength that comes from within. Now, I encourage you to share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Which Stoic practice will you commit to this week, and how do you envision it transforming your daily life? Let's build a community of growth and support. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more insights on living a Stoic life effortlessly. Until next time, stay strong and live wisely.